I got nothing. We live? Cool. Great start as always. Welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name is Peter Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. This is going out on the DLF live stream as well as my own, so don't tell them or nothing. They might cancel it. We talk about Dynasty 9:30 every Wednesday till close, really, until we have to go to bed. So appreciate you checking us out. If you're new, drop any comment or question or angry rant about Dynasty and how week 6 also sucked. In general, for fantasy football, in whatever comment box platform you're watching on has, because we go out on several. Because no one cares. Twitch doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care if I send it to multiple. There is no conflict. Don't worry about it. I guess introductions. I actually did think of something that could be relevant, and then I thought something that was better but not relevant. I don't know which way to go, really. A historian called E.H. Carr, writing in the 1960s, said the best historian is one who projects himself into the future the most accurately. Now, I wrote an essay about that quote, and my very learned history professor told me I completely misunderstood it. But what would he know? He's just got a couple PhDs. I felt like he was saying the historian whose work survives or gets most acclaim in the future and moving forward and in the discipline was one who most accurately predicts and therefore writes to the sensibilities of the generations of historians to come, much more than his interpretation of the past matters. But I realize I've gone off the rails anyway. Essentially, that's Dynasty too. The best Dynasty player is the one who predicts the future slightly more accurately, because we're all hitting about a 53% rate if you're top tier, and I ain't, at the best of times. So Dynasty is about that. It's about being the best historian, and that's it. It felt like a good quote. What do you think? No? I'll go then. Hey. I felt on point. That quote actually has some relevance, and I feel like I gave it a worse performance than usual.
Well, so, but I think that the trouble with Dynasty, though, is it's not necessarily the one who projects the future the best. Well, at least analysts. For analysts, it's the one who projects. You get the loudest, and then you're.
Sorry, I hear a fuzzing noise, and I don't know what it is. But that was my point about the. It's Russ. Or it was something about, I don't know. It's fixed now, either way. I'm going to keep switching this around. No, it's back. It sucks. Anyway, that's what I felt about the quote, though. His point, I think, was about reading the interpretation that was most likely, or whether they know it or not, but it was most likely to survive analysis for the future. So it's Gibbon's, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire, was the textbook on the subject for like 50 years. But then we decided that it was a little too, because we are all culturally specific in our outlook. And we decided, we moved and we reinterpreted history. And while it's still a great textbook on the subject, it's no longer the default, because we interpret the past differently based on our cultural shift.
We move.
And I think that relates to Dynasty. Like, we move our perspective on who is valuable and who has value. And that to me is Dynasty, and points. Like, you can accurately predict the value and like Tyler Lockett this year, even though the value isn't going to be there.
We're back in the shift toward wide receivers, because wide receivers are scoring. We're going to have the next 3 or 4 years where the top of your Dynasty rankings are going to be wide receivers. Which, I mean, if you stand in one place, eventually everything moves around you and comes all the way back.
That's what I've always felt. You see all your enemies floating down the river, as they say. I don't have enemies, just people.
Look, that's assuming that the earth is round, and I don't appreciate that being put out there. Sorry,
Are you gonna fight Joe Rogan too?
Sure. Who?
Yeah.
So I like wide receivers, so that makes me happy. So I'm not gonna lie.
Pete, let's find a question.
Yeah, seriously.
We're 3 hours behind already. We just
I know, I'm
started.
kind of lagging today. My internet and also just my general sensibility for the show. I don't know. I look forward to the show every week, as you know, but it also signals the end of any free time, which I don't have. And also, I spent all day staring at an article I got to write today, and I hate having to make actionable content. Can't we just talk about things that are interesting instead of having to make it all about, oh, it has immediate relevance? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
I mean, that's what this show
is better.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but not my. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like, we have the ability to just sit here and talk in circles, and it doesn't need to be actionable whatsoever. So soak it in, get the best of it right now, because you're screwed starting tomorrow.
Well, Dynasty Outhouse Truther is gonna not let us do that. He's gonna ask a question that offers immediate actionable advice. So he says not only is Dynasty Outhouse the best, obviously that's why he's his truther, he also loves the show. So he or she is a little weird. We're going to admit that right up front, and that's okay.
Right up front,
we're a little weird too. We are three grown men with children spending our Wednesday nights talking about Dynasty Fantasy Football. So we like weird. We're good with weird. 12-team Superflex PPR. He has Allen, Mahomes, I assume that's Josh Allen because of the order, and Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins, and George Pickens, and Kyle Pitts, plus 6 23 firsts and 3 24 firsts. So he has no league mates at this point. Or she. I received an offer. Mahomes to AJ Brown and a late 23 first.
Nowhere near enough.
Nope.
That's at least a mid-first short.
Yeah.
Just because you have too many quarterbacks doesn't mean you're selling them cheap. And man, that's cheap.
It's the rust.
No.
Every time I get a trade offer in my inbox like this, I always hear Russ's voice in my head saying, "It doesn't matter. Your roster doesn't matter. The value of the trade, the value of the player is the value of the player. Your roster does not change the value of the player." And Patrick Mahomes is an absolute difference maker at the most important position in Superflex.
Patrick Mahomes is
the two
that untradeable value. There really is no trade that is worth. Josh Allen's even more valuable, but there's only so much value you can have. So it's kind of the same tier. And they're in it together. And in Superflex, there is no one that comes close. I have Mahomes on a team that I don't think I'm winning right now. I can't imagine a trade that would pass muster for me or any trade calculator. Well, trade calculator will find something.
Did you delete Hope's offer yet?
No, I'm still staring at it because that's what keeps stopping me. It's not enough, but there is no enough for Mahomes. And since your team doesn't need anything, there's really nothing. If you were like a terrible team, I'd be like, you need multiple firsts. You need as many things as possible. You don't need it. So just there's almost no trade I could tell you to try and get.
This is the type of team that I turn around and say, "Hey, I'll give you 2 firsts for AJ Brown."
Yeah. I mean, why are you keeping the first at this point?
I mean, I don't think I do it yet. Like, if seeing as how you didn't list any running backs, wait 3 weeks. Yeah. Find the Derrick Henry owner, give them a first to get Derrick Henry. Find someone else, like
in 3 weeks, you probably don't even have to give the Derrick Henry owner a first. Like, not enough. To be. Yeah. I mean.
Get Barkley and Chubb in 3 weeks. It'll cost you more than one first, but it doesn't matter. They can't beat you if they have all 6 of your firsts. They're not beating you next year either. They already made the mistake if they're not all building. I'm going to shut up. I just realized I interrupted Russ again.
Nope. I was just saying I'm agreeing with you. Just, go. Like, you were not interrupting at all. You're right. Like, don't sell any of those quarterbacks for less than what you should be getting for a top 5 quarterback. But when it comes to Allen and Mahomes, those are 1 and 2. So
Yeah.
literally like the moon. If someone can go,
I want you to say that like Gru, though. We're going to steal the moon.
I almost did it actually, and I decided not to, and I can't believe you just called me out on that.
Appreciate your Dynasty Outhouse Truther. He says, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I never do. And I'm just going to point out, because Zach pointed out, Dynasty Outhouse Truther was in here at 6:30, which is... I don't know what to feel about that, but I'm going to choose to feel great about it. Like you were eager to leave a comment. I really appreciate that.
I mean, it's my burner account, so I couldn't do it too close to when we started. So
you just kind of spoiled it for me, but okay, fine. We don't have friends or fans. It's cool. We just have each other. These are all our burners. Caleb, that's Zach's burner, I believe. Hey guys, 2 questions for you. I'm 6-0. Good job. Most points in the league by 180. 10-team, half-point PPR, Superflex. Do I move a 23 first for Henry? I have Saquon, JT, Mixon, and Henry. I mean, yeah, you can. I would say add more points to your team. I might do it for AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill, though, because at least then you've got... There's no need you have to give up just for points. Okay, you can get a little value on that.
10-team, but Henry is Henry. Yeah. Like, he has Saquon, JT, Mixon. Honestly, like...
Diggs.
Yes.
Cup.
Easy.
Cup.
And I don't know if you're getting
Diggs. Cup isn't beating you, clearly.
Diggs or Cup for just a first. That's the problem.
You are. If you're 6-0, they're not winning. And you're like, hey, first, who's going to give you a first for Cup later?
Oh, you should. I'm like...
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you came to me, if I had Cooper Kupp on my roster and you came to me with a first, that would be an immediate just reject. Because that's what I do.
I do. I mean, I like I was saying it before.
Smart.
Like,
good.
Doing this stuff now scares me because 2 weeks from now, the guy you trade your first for can get hurt, and then you're just sort of screwed. So I like waiting as long as humanly possible. But
and especially,
I was gonna say, I've had that thing you said last week in my head, and it's become like a thing I know I'm gonna refer to a lot. And you said it, and it was last minute. Get running backs at the last minute, and whatever that last minute is to you, fine. But that's what I think that's a good way of looking at it.
So we should go and parlay this into Caleb's second question too.
Oh.
Because he says also my wide receivers are Jefferson, Diggs, Debo, but then Lockett, Woods, Dubs, and DPJ would making a move for Christian Kirk or Cooper make sense for DPJ in a second. That part absolutely.
This hurts my feelings after the start of the season, but I think Cooper's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Like, because a combination of the Jaguars looking weird on offense, but also Christian Kirk hasn't been getting the targets he did for the first 4 games. I don't like it. I don't like it, but it's happening. So I think Cooper is easily the best receiver on that team, so it's a safer option.
Yep. And
if you can get Cooper for DPJ in a second, that's super easy. Yeah,
I would definitely do that. And back to the first question is, you're already 6-0. You're already 180 points ahead. You don't get extra points for crushing whatever your league is in the regular season. So to Russ's point on that one, wait.
But hold on. This guy's team: Saquon, JT, Mixon, Jefferson, Diggs, Debo, and then go get Henry and Cooper.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Do that now, because it would just be awesome to look at on your your starting lineup would just I would laugh when I set my lineup. I don't care if I lose a game. I would still just laugh at how good that lineup is.
Yeah, I would sell Donovan Peoples-Jones in a second for almost anything. I'm not interested in having either much, and Cooper and Kirk both good. I mean, the top 24 wide receivers. I would tell you to like try and go get something that has value, but you don't need it. You got all the value, so just get a nice secure asset. I understand that.
How much more of a bump value-wise do you think he would get from switching? Okay, well,
That's the only question I've got.
How much higher of a level of a player do you think he could get if he swapped in Dubs instead of Peoples-Jones?
I mean, maybe a little. But...
Dubs is probably worth about a second right now, and he's an interesting buy for some teams, not this team.
So like if you can instead of
I don't know,
you could like get up to like a Pittman. I don't know if that's too much.
That would be too much.
Is it? Yeah, I mean it is.
But I don't think it's that different.
If you could pull something like that off, I would absolutely, because I mean like.
So I was thinking maybe a Jameson Williams, maybe a David, but something struggling and young to get the value. I don't know there are any better points.
Yeah, but this team you want the point. This team you want the points. Like you absolutely want the points.
No, you're not going to start Curtis Samuel on this team.
No, you absolutely want the points.
I think he's as startable as Kirk or Cooper is the thing. Well, Cooper's more startable. But...
I don't. Well, especially now with Wentz being out, we don't really know who's going to be targeted. So I wouldn't go out of my way to get anyone in Washington.
I still think Samuel's probably more 24, but I get it. Yeah, that's fair. I would rather have Cooper and I'd probably rather have Kirk. That's the thing. I can't think of anyone that I'd rather have over those two with that value. Definitely right idea. And considering the team you've built, go with what you think. I think you're doing a bang up job, my man. Go for it, Caleb. Order 66, 12-team Superflex PPR, start 10. Swift and Lawrence, or Tua, Hollywood, and 223 seconds. This is am I winning or losing?
Yeah.
Although Swift, Tua and Lawrence should be pretty close.
I still think it's Swift and Lawrence. I really do, because again the seconds are just kind of a shrug.
I was about to say if it was a first, it would change my answer.
Yeah,
but yeah, Tua should play this week. I'm so excited.
Tua is above Lawrence for me, but not not like
they're tiered. I think they're tiered.
Yeah, I mean, but not. I mean, it's not like Tua's like up in the upper echelon and Lawrence is way down. But I think Tua's above him. Hollywood,
yeah, I agree with that.
Fine, but Swift.
It's just I still have questions. Swift should be more, but Hollywood is undervalued. It's Swift. You're right, but I'm like,
but you can't. So, but that's the thing, Peter. Is when you're trading, especially if you're, if you've got the outhouse mindset where you're cascading trades, like just because you want Hollywood to be valued more doesn't make him valued more. So, like it's Swift.
No, it doesn't. But it is Swift because it's the only way this trade makes sense. If the one side doesn't need points this season, so you're getting Tua and he's coming back, but Hollywood's pretty much a next year proposition, and you're getting seconds, I guess.
Yeah.
And Swift is probably going to come back and put up points. So one side's getting points, one side's probably getting future, but probably not quite enough. I'd say it's even enough because
I mean honestly, Swift probably has the most future value too. I think Swift starts next year as a top 5 or 6 running back.
He will be, and it'll be the same exact thing as it is every year. It's more hopes and dreams than it is anything else. He'll be a points per game top 7 running back, but he's still going to miss like 5 games a season. That's why I'm never the biggest Swift fan. I love the idea of Swift, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing.
But then
Jamal Williams all day, bro. And that's the thing, though. If he isn't this season, he's probably still top 12. You're right. He's too young.
Easy.
And
he's young and he catches passes. And that
but
offense,
to be fair, the value of the running backs may fall a little bit, but even then, he's so young, probably not enough. So yeah, it's the Swift side, and that's a good way of getting him. Frankly, good way of getting a running back with that potential and that age. It's a really good trade for that Swift side. Howdy's heroes. Hey, Joe Mike. I'm just going to keep saying it someone until someone admits.
I admit that the other one was my burner. He's trying to put this as other people.
Fair enough. I really don't have the energy for burners. I'm too much all over my accounts, but okay, that's me. Fine. Howdy's heroes. Follow up from last week's suggestion. I tried to sell the farm for Mark Andrews. That's cool. I mean, who needs farmland in this day and age? Um,
Farmers.
Everyone, land has value, and that's the stupidest thing said. Not really, but I once said Nicky O'Hara is the best wide receiver in the draft class, so you know. For Mark Andrews, and the manager didn't bite. Well,
that is someone who's saying, I'm just not trading him.
Yep.
Yeah, Hawkins.
Holy
I was
Jesus.
talking about this on the episode for next week. I think it's the only reason we can't make more content on it or better content is because I don't think there are many things you can do. But try and with Zach on my podcast, we were talking about considering your team situation. When I was talking to Evan this week, we were trying to consider league situation. Because it's what Matt Price did in the DLF league. Like, I've seen it done before, but he moved an entire league from everyone just sitting on the value. I'm just not doing anything. I'm good right now. I don't really feel like taking gambles in whatever situations we are, to him immediately getting several offers and actually trading Eno Benjamin for what rolled into 2 young wide receivers. And that went from a situation where no one was sending trades to where he got several offers and got a pretty decent one for both sides. And he just put it in the chat. I'm going to do an auction, best offer wins. And he moved us from where no one was doing anything to where several of us tried to do everything. And there are very few ways of doing that. But that's the problem with, like, you've got to move a league situation now and again. And I don't think it's very often you're going to be able to do it, and I only think someone as good as Matt Price is able to do it consistently, to be honest with you. But
I have 2 words for you.
A thing we don't talk about enough. Yeah, go.
Outhouse challenge.
Yeah,
that gets the league moving.
That's a good one. Yeah. You want to explain what that is? It
is not good for your team, but it is fun and gets the league moving. Oh, I guess I haven't talked about it in a while. And first of all, after all of this, me pretending I had a burner account that was an outhouse truther, I did not name it this. Someone else started calling it that. But the outhouse challenge is you go into your league and you say, all right, send me an offer. I'm going to post the offer on Twitter. If the side you are offering me wins the Twitter poll, I'm going to accept it. And there's ground rules.
And if you want to... Sorry, Karen.
There's ground rules to it. Like, you're allowed to send multiple offers, but you can't send variations on the same offer. So it's not like a second for this player, a second and third for the same player. Like, you can't just, no, you send an offer. If you want to win, you send a good offer, because that's the point.
Send your best.
Yeah, shit's not going to get accepted on Twitter. Like, they're not always smart, but they're not idiots. So, like,
it's a very lopsided. There's a group think, but it's not a dumb group.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
the group is actively studying Dynasty.
They're not gonna choose a 23 first over Jamar Chase. It's just, then why? But you do take advantage of things. Players that people are down on or too high on, you offer and try and use that against them. And I mean, I've lost plenty of first round picks. I've lost plenty of players. The amount of T. Higgins shares I've lost in those, because everyone knows this is the only way I'm going to get Higgins off of Russ. Let's see what I can do. So everyone comes after Higgins and Waddle every time I do it in Outhouse Challenge. But so if you want to do this, if you plan on doing this, I would also say Twitter poll 4 hours, 6 at most, because otherwise you are just bored waiting for things to end.
Yeah.
So like, make them kind of short, but long enough that you get more than 20 votes like you want.
You could tell your league, I'm going to sell T. Higgins for the best tight end deal I can get, for example.
Yeah, that's stuff too. Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, Twitter's a miserable place sometimes. Tag me if you need to, and I will try and help get votes on it, because sometimes you get 12 votes, and that's when you could get a lopsided trade accepted. So
heck yeah.
Tag me, and mention Outhouse's name. They'll probably, if you know about him, they might know about him, and they know he's got a heavy trade following. They're gonna get votes. So, like,
tag me. I will retweet.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you out there. Outhouse is gonna do this.
It's kind of
maybe.
It's kind of my jam.
What you do, I figured.
Yeah.
But I probably should have asked. Sorry, but like, just if it helps, I think that's a good, like that. I was trying to think of a way that could help this person or a person in a particular situation. And it is like, go to your league and say, I'm going to trade just Higgins for the best tight end deal I can get. And you might get Mark Andrews thrown at you in some sort of deal, or you might get Kelsey, or you might get Kittle, but it's going to have a lot on it to get the Twitter poll won. So hopefully they send decent offers.
Oh, I'd be too terrified to do that with Higgins, but yes, absolutely. Like,
or something.
Don't be afraid to do stuff. Well, maybe you should be afraid, but have some fun with it. Absolutely, put stuff out in your group chat. That's the word, league chat. There you go, and let them know, like, hey man, like this, I am sending this player by this day,
or pick, or whatever. Take care.
It's I don't know if you saw the tweet from Cal at Calvin and Hobby.
He's the one who got the trade done.
Yeah, but he said y'all ain't ready for it. But trading would get better if all trade offers were visible to the entire league, and that's kind of what Russ is doing with the Outhouse Challenge, and it's what Matt Price did with some dropping in the group chat. But like if everybody knows, and how many times do you see a trade go through in your league where you're like, oh man, I would have given you something better than that?
That's a really good observation about the commonality about both of those things that will work. It's the fact that other people, and I don't think it's manipulation. It's just getting them to think. Think about acting, and that could encourage a league.
But it's positive manipulation.
Yeah. It's getting them to think about acting and putting a little pressure on someone else might. And you're not gonna, again, Matt Price didn't gouge anyone. He got a decent offer.
Yeah.
And the
same with what
that
Cal's
could
saying.
have more ramifications in a league. In your league, if you're struggling to get good trades done, if you start to encourage that kind of behavior, I mean, that could really order a league even larger than that. I really like the idea. And Matt, the Outhouse Challenge, I didn't even think about that one, but it's
keep your notebook handy too, because you're going to learn a lot about your league mates doing that sort of thing.
The only other one I could think of the only other ones we could think of that have been done are like accepting any trade or getting some smaller trade done, which might encourage other people to start trading when they see offers. Or like you said about the notebook, and you and Leo talking about developing those relationships with trades that make sense and being a dependable trade partner, so they know they can send you trades, or that you reject them rather than just let them wait in your inbox, or you contact them and say, I'm just thinking, instead of just letting them sit. But yeah, it's all, I think you're right. That thread is making the league aware in some non-evil trade comment kind of way that, hey, this is going on. Let's do it as a group, opening it up almost.
And I think
I was saying a long time ago that I wish everyone tried to use their trade bait properly. Don't just dump your crappy things that you would accept anything for. But like, I always try to put players I think have some value, and I might be willing to accept lower or at that value. And I thought that could work, but it doesn't pass that test. Like, you can use a trade bait properly, and everyone else is still just going to think anyone you put on there is worth a second or a third when it's T. Higgins, So, yeah, I think those are better suggestions. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so into the weeds, but I think it's a really interesting, like, it's something we don't have a lot of answers for, and that makes it an interesting area. And it could delve right into people's leagues instead of this generic ADP landscape, which sometimes doesn't work for you in your situation. So, yeah, Outhouse Challenge it. FTT 004, which I assume is his code name as an assassin. What you add to
Justin
Herbert in a 1 QB league to get Breece Hall. A first might get someone's interest. 23 first.
Yep. That's the first thing my brain went to.
And this is why I think going to get those quarterbacks are inherently undervalued in 1 quarterback leagues. They are.
Is Herbert on that list?
He's not quite in that difference. So to me, the guys who make a difference are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Would you put Murray on that list?
Murray's close. Hurts is close. Hurts is
Hurts
probably
is
on
cool.
that list. Hurts, so like maybe those
Hurts,
four,
yeah.
because you got to have the ability to move the ball with your legs, but also have the ability to throw for 250 yards a game
For that
like
40-point
to
upside,
be able
unless
to do that.
Or be Patrick Mahomes. Those are the two ways, or Peyton Manning. Those are the ways onto that list.
With this one, if I am looking to acquire Breece Hall and I have Herbert and I have a team that I am winning with, so I think it's going to be a back half of the first round next year, I'm all about that. Like, let's do that. Let's go get Breece Hall. Breece Hall is probably going to be a top 2, 3 running back next year. He's already RB1 according to, I saw Ryan McDowell tweet that out yesterday.
Well, I mean, if we're including 23 running backs, Bijan is one.
Yep.
Right away.
That's fair.
After that, you'll have a little wiggle room.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor might be held up there depending on how he finishes this season, just because of he's good. But right now, it's hard to not put Breece Hall up there. And
he's got to be up there. Yeah.
And like, maybe if Jahmyr Gibbs falls into a beautiful situation that I can't even think of right now.
Maybe.
If the Niners or the Rams, like, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, by the way, they are like rumored to be in trade talks for Christian McCaffrey, which would just be so much fun. But yeah.
That could make my Scott Fishbowl.
It would have
I'm all for
it. So Gibbs to me would be like Sean Payton decides to come back and coach a team, and then Gibbs lands there, and then all of a sudden you have the new Kamara role.
Well, that's why I thought the Niners would be a good idea.
I mean, not if you think Lance is going to be a thing.
Or at least the nowadays, like, if the Rams offensive line is what it is now and Stafford still can't throw the ball that far, like, that's then that's like a great spot for him as well.
You get that perfect storm like Roethlisberger last year with Najee Harris,
right? Yeah, exactly. Like, but like, really, like, Breece Hall is probably going to be top 3.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to
should
be safe, okay, 4 or 5. I mean, like, he's not falling further than that. There's not enough good running backs that are young enough to put above him. So, like, again, it was the same thing with Javonte Williams Javonte Williams last year. No matter what happened, he was going to be a top 5 running back because there was just no one else to put above him. And that's the way it was, and it definitely would have stayed that way had he unfortunately not gotten hurt. But Breece Hall deserves it. That's the thing. It's not like I always said that Javonte is like moonwalking his way into being a top 5 running back, because it's not necessarily something he's doing. It's something that everyone else can't do anymore. Right. McCaffrey and Saquon and Chubb and everyone's like going down. But yeah, Breece Hall's that guy for now. So I would easily add a first on top of a quarterback in a 1 quarterback league to go get him.
Yeah, I think that would be fair for both, to be honest. Everything's 23 picks. I get it. It sucks, but that's kind of where we're
also,
at.
23 picks in a 1 quarterback are a little less impressive because the big deal about 23 picks is Superflex, because there's going to be probably 4 quarterbacks going in the first round.
That's actually always a thing to remember, that the value moves up. And
there's still going to be a lot of very good players in the first round, but not as many getting pushed back. I mean, the same thing as, the past year or two with Lance, Fields, Lawrence, Mack, Zach Wilson, like, that pushed some talent a little further back. And the year before, Tua, Burrow, Herbert, so yes, keep going. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say Clue and AZZ. I see your donations. We really appreciate it. I'm at least gonna move through the people who are asking questions before we're even live. Sorry, I hope that doesn't offend. Cecil, do you put premium on players that play in warm weather climates? For example, come fantasy playoff time, a guy like Burrow will be playing in tougher weather than a guy like Herbert usually. No, I don't consider it. The league does shift towards running towards the latter half of the season, but that's kind of league wide.
I was going to say
wide
running back,
receiver,
yes.
part of wide receiver expected points goes down. And the other thing is that's going to change year over year, and I'm not going to trust myself to know when.
But if you are looking for weather related information, Chris Allen is the
good, yeah.
Chris Allen, I love that guy.
Where can we find Chris Allen, Zach?
At Chris Allen FFWX on Twitter and every single fantasy football site ever. And some sites that aren't fantasy football sites will post his articles anyway because that's how good Chris Allen is.
Yep.
Awesome dude too. Really good follow. Always recommend Chris. I met him once. I was pretty excited. He was mostly drunk and was looking for more interesting people, but I did enjoy him passing me by. It was really cool. He's a good dude. Seesaw had another weather question. Do you value does the value of good running backs increase as we get into I mean just the fantasy players by itself, but there really is a trend towards rushing, and that's consistent year
and
after
the
year.
cool thing about that I don't know if we call him Cecil or Cecil. I got Cecil in my head because of Cecil Fielder, the
I
baseball
probably got it
player. No. Like, I don't know whether he pronounces it Cecil or Cecil, but the cool thing about that and heading toward the end of the season is oftentimes you can end up with either a waiver wire guy or somebody you have stashed. Because if you build, and Peter, we talked about building a little bit on the crossroads this past week, and I talked about building with my young wide receivers. The thing I didn't talk about is most of my bench is running back. Because
I mean, it should always be, especially in Dynasty.
Yeah, because
I fell into that when I first started in Dynasty, and I love the undrafted free agents and the long distance potential wide receivers. And I hit on several of them, and it gets addictive. And then you realize you're giving up way too much potential. That's the value of roster space. Like plug it up with running backs, not deep.
Not only
tight ends, but mostly running backs.
Yeah, not only are you giving up potential, but you're also giving up points because any week somebody can come in and do that. I mean, we just saw was it Deion Jackson? Is that who it was for the Colts this week?
Jalen Warren or whatever.
Just one, yeah. So like if you hit one of those weeks, great. And if you look at, and I did this a couple of shows ago, where if you look at the last 4 weeks of the season and you look at the running backs who score the most points in the last 4 weeks of the season, you're going to see a whole bunch of guys that you're like, who is that? Because
the league winners in playoffs are JK, no one knows.
Gus Edwards a couple of years ago
actually
came
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you look at it in terms of just season long. Players come drafted outside the top 36 from running back so much more often than wide receiver or tight end. Tight end, that's why I say it's a little close. Always ends up being pretty close with league winners and tight end and running back. But running back normally wins, no matter how you want to slice it. So, yeah, good. You guys know I get to just say yes and smile and nod and look ugly. It's pretty cool. Clue, 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium, start 9. He's going to, if he accepts it, he gets Christian Kirk. He gives a projected early 23 second.
I'd still rather have Kirk than a second.
Yeah. Even with the past 3 games not being great, I'm there for it.
He's still in the top 24. Like he's still.
Peter, I sent you a trade offer.
Okay, I think that's if you're winning or losing. Honestly, Kirk's it's fine. A to Z. I read that one correctly, I think. Someone check me.
Oh, that looks good.
I can screw that up even. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, dude. Thanks very much. Are your views about ETN changing in Dynasty PPR? Also traded a late 23 first for Dobbins a few weeks ago. I think Dobbins is a solid value move. Running backs are difficult value moves, but he's going to put up some. He's not. Anyway, I'll let Outhouse handle that one. He's the Dobbins guy. No, I'm not being fooled by ETN. I think he's fine. I think he's part of a committee. I'd rather have James Robinson because I think he's shown more upside potential, and I think it's just the team being a dick, to be honest. The way I wrote it up for my column this week is the NFL has to sniff its own farts when it comes to its draft capital. We, at some point, can recognize that the player isn't quite living up to the potential hype. I'm not sniffing the NFL's farts. I'm not falling for ETN. But if you want points at running back, depends on the trade. But I could see a potential moving into him. But I'm not trading a first for him. No.
No, and I think the thing that everyone is getting excited about ETN is the last two games he's been incredibly efficient. Like he's had long runs, and that's great.
Theory. That's all it is.
Yeah, like ETN is fine. ETN is not a bad running back, but he is not. It's a little bit like DeAndre Swift light, where you're expecting him to be a lot more than he is because you see these flashes of him being really good in situations where he should be successful. If they get him the ball in space, they get him the ball on the outside, he's very good. He is. But to expect him to average 7 or 8 yards a carry that's not realistic.
I just pulled up his stats because it's not that they've been giving him more.
No, he's only
they've
had
just
10
been
carries.
giving Robinson less.
Yeah. And so it's unbalanced.
So for the past 4 games, 13 attempts, 8, 10, 10. The difference is exactly what Zach said. 3 yards per carry, 4 yards per carry, 7 yards per carry, 8 yards per carry. The one thing I did like was 2 games ago, he got 5 targets, which is nice.
Yeah.
I was actually going to mention
4,
that.
3, 3, 1, 5, 2. So it's not like it's a trend. It just happened to be nice. Also, the last 2 games, they played the Texans and the Colts, who, at least according to MFL, are 32 and 25 against the run.
Yeah, are bad.
They're bad. Yeah. So, here's my thing. I like the idea of ETN at the price now as opposed to him in the rookie draft and him hype-wise before the season started. I like this very, very, very late first in a way that you can second plus to get to him without actually sending a first.
Like you just got the Dobbins, honestly.
Like both of you just said, I don't want to send a first for him, but I do think there's foot injuries take a while to heal from. And if that is the case, him getting back to top speed and him cutting a little better, 7 and 8 yards per rush, and I know yards per carry is a crap stat, but this efficiency, let's word it like that because that is a lot better sounding. Like, you're not going to get this, but like maybe you do every couple of games, and maybe he has that ceiling, which would be nice. And again, this is why I love the second plus value for him, because this is a lot of maybes. But like I say, I will always make excuses for players I kind of like. Well, players I like, yes. And I will maybe a lot for ETN because I kind of like him. So
I think that's a good point. I don't mind him.
And I like a 23 first for a late 23 first for Dobbins because also still getting healthy. And that team is different without Bateman there. Even when Bateman wasn't doing well, the offense was different with Bateman there. So if he gets healthy, he comes back. Or hey, they signed Deshaun Jackson to the practice squad. It's about to get lit in Baltimore. So I like the idea of getting Dobbins, but that also is just
does that mean like 13 targets for Mark Andrews next week?
Yes.
Yeah. It always means that. Yes. See, I was really controlling me. See how I'm getting better at not interrupting? I was just sitting here with a grimace on my face.
I saw it and I'm like, I want Peter to talk, but I still I'm in ramble.
No, we don't want me to talk. That's the thing.
I always want.
All of that, what he said, I did. ETN is all those running backs we were just talking about with draft capital and a current role, which is not incapable of being startable in fantasy football, like a top 24 running back. So he is better than and more valuable in all of those, but he's not as valuable as the actual guys with the full role. And while I did like his talent coming from college, like I was really spent that off season talking about how they just destroyed James Robinson and he was so good. And then he got injured and James Robinson did it again. So I kind of got out too early and on my takes at least. but that draft capital does matter. But he's still just that plus. He's not Swift minus. He's Jamal Williams plus. Yeah, I think I'll stay with that. And if you keep him in that range, then he makes sense as a trade target. But I'm betting, especially after the last 2 weeks, that his value's just not there. It's above that. And if it is, I'm out. I don't want it. The other thing I was gonna say is I know there's a trick nerds pull on themselves. Sometimes with that, I'm never quite sure if they realize when they're doing it, but you listen to really smart guys, and I do too, talk that actively hit on breakouts and production trends and usage roles and all this stuff. But when you notice they've switched to counting stats when you're used to hearing them talk about percentages and roles, I don't know if they're doing it consciously or unconsciously, because it's so powerful. 11 targets of the last 2 games. Of course he was going to have a good, or whatever it is. Like, why are you switch counting stats suddenly, bro? And it's because that's the one that looks good. If you look at his role, which is better of a longer term at being more accurate, it sucks ass. Sorry to use that language, but it's not that. And it's one we almost pull on ourselves consistently. And we're so used to using stats to be persuasive that whether we consciously or unconsciously do it, it's really easy to find something that sounds good on a player with draft capital and a decent college profile. So you're like, maybe the counting stats matter a little bit more here. Maybe they do, but they're definitely, the stats themselves don't suggest they should be, because they're just counting stats at the end of the day, even if you per game it over a 2-game sample, So I would look out for that trick, and I do myself, because I find myself constantly doing it, reaching for better takes. Who can I make an actionable take about this week? Well, if I look over this 3-game sample, his targets look pretty good, and it's something I've tried to become more vigilant about. And I know I'm not the only one who makes it, so I thought I'd throw that out. Seth, back at 9/11. He's got an inbox trade. Sorry to get to you a little later. Then 9/11 then. Give Ramondre Stevenson and a mid-23 second for a 23 first. That's a win. Yes, I would do that.
Yep. I mean, Stevenson is doing well, but
he's a good player.
You look very deep in thought, Zach.
That's dangerous.
No, I'd do that. I'd get it first. But
were you thinking about it that hard?
No. I was reading.
Just checking. Yeah, no, that's
like, I want ETN like Ramondre, actually. That's not a bad value range for him. But you're more likely to get Ramondre there. I like the player. I don't hate his situation. He's just not got that ceiling on it.
Well, but it's not, and I hate to use the narrative streak, but it's the Patriots, and once they have more healthy running backs, Stevenson is going to be one of the healthy running backs that gets touches. Right now, he is the healthy running back, which is nice.
Damian Harris played this week, though.
Ish.
He was on the field this week.
Yes. That I will.
No, it's Patriot running back. It's like the third lesson you learn playing fantasy football. It's like they're good, but Bill Belichick, something. Consistent narrative work. Randy Wyatt, and if all else fails, you can get more for more teams with a first than
you'll be able to do better than Stevenson with a first in 3 months.
You might be able to get Javonte Williams right now, and that hopefully will get even better as the offseason moves forward or approaches. We're not in the offseason anymore, right?
We are not.
I miss the offseason. I'm strongly missing the offseason.
So much I know, right?
What are you talking about? We got another Thursday night game to look forward to.
Woo! Let's do it. Randy Wyatt, what's up, gents? The value
Speaking of Thursday night games, Eno Benjamin.
Let's go. A little disappointing, I think, for some last week, but he all right. Randy Wyatt, what's up, gents? Sent Eno Benjamin for an early 23 second round pick. How'd I do? I think that's
fantastic.
Yep. That's what Matt Price couldn't get, so he made that pressure move.
that'd be the one though where I would try to add my second Eno to get up to a first. See if it happens.
It's not.
It's good.
Like, it's really funny because that trade before where Ramondre in a second for a first.
Yeah.
I was
This
trying to
is
get
better
Ramondre.
than that.
I was trying to get Stevenson in a league, and I was throwing at like 2 of to get Stevenson, and he kept coming back with Stevenson in a second for a first. I'm just like, I'm not giving a first for Stevenson. I don't care that I'm getting a second back.
It was the other Harris that played this week, by the way, too. It was Kevin.
It really?
Yeah, it was Kevin, not Damian. Damian Harris.
Yeah, I know. I had to add a
Oh,
whole
so they
bunch of 6th round rookie IDs, and it was like, oh, it's that point in the season where 6th round players need to be added. And
that's...
Kevin Harris and Mike Thomas, and I was like,
Pierre
how many of the
Strong,
same?
Junior.
I wonder if it ever bothers an NFL player to be like Kevin Harris 000-5, because there's been 5 previous Kevin Harrises in the NFL. Like, come on, man, I'm an individual. This is a good name, damn it. They shouldn't be.
They're used to it at this point.
Probably.
People with those bland names.
But yeah. I mean, with an original name like Peter Howard, it's just always
You're still the first Peter Howard I ever met.
Yeah, a remarkable lack of famous Peter Howards, that's fair. I did find a guy who wrote a cookbook in Australia once, because I was curious.
There is a
that's the only famous Peter Howard.
There is a Russell Fisher who is a very, at least successful, I don't know if he's famous, landscape painter. He paints landscapes.
Oh, nice.
One of those things like Google, like what's the first thing that shows up when you Google yourself? I had to go to like page 4 before there was like something that said I played roller hockey in high school, in college. Like I haven't done it in a while. Like I would hope something comes up quicker now.
You won't see me for a while if you Google. It's all about Peter Howard graduated Oxford, and that's not me. And some guy who published a cooking book in Australia. Or it's an Australian cooking
Peter
book.
Howard,
I assume he's in Australia.
Urology specialist in Toms River, New Jersey.
There you go. That's not me either, just in case you were wondering.
No, it's not. I see a picture of the guy. Wow, there's a lot of Dr. Peter Howards.
Yeah, not one of them. We're normally successful folk. I don't know what happened.
Hey, third thing down is you on Twitter, man. Just saying.
That's just because of your Google search history. You search Dynasty stuff, and so DLF probably comes up. Google, it's scraping you, man. Dustin Oz, evening, gents. Thanks very much for calling me a gent. That's not undeserved, and I appreciate it. 10-team Superflex, 1.5 tight end premium contender. Nice. Traded my 23 second and third for Ninjoku. I hate it. I take back my nice, but it's.
I don't mind that. 1.5
fine.
point premium, second and a third. I'm shooting for tight ends in the second and third.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Last week was a damn week, but it's fine.
He's getting targets.
He's a startable tight end.
That's all you can ask for.
Overpay for the hype? No, I think you probably got in at the right time after last week as well. No, I think that's very good.
It's a regular pay for the hype.
I tried saying 24 seconds and it keeps getting rejected.
Yep.
No, I mean, there's only 2 tight ends that I would be like, well, if you could get them and you know who they are and you're not getting them for anything close to that. So, I mean, I like Faramuth, but I wouldn't I mean, the value is pretty close outside of those 2 for everyone else. Hawkinson, Dallas, and Muth. So you got a guy with a discount on him, and there's no real reason for it. So it's fine. It is more fun to say. You got to admit, he's at least got that going for him. For context, all of the difference making, unobtained. That's the thing. And you got,
Yep.
You did solid, man. Good job. Randy Wyatt. So I started, Gerald Everett's probably in that tier. There's no one better in that tier that I would say you should go out and get instead for that you could get for that price. Randy Wyatt, should get.
He's seeing 6 targets a week. Like what?
Yeah.
Like that's not bad for a tight end. Score touchdown, call it good.
It's an expensive 6 targets. Randy Wyatt. So I started 2 and 4. Thanks to me not listening to my gut and starting James Robinson over Deion Jackson.
Ooh.
It's hard when you know you wanted to do something different, but hopefully it was for a process reason, and you can either fix the process or you
live with yourself. But
yeah.
do.
process over gut, but did you make a mistake in the process is the way I was trying to think. I want to complain and let you guys know that we all appreciate you. Oh, no problem, man. And just complain away. You don't have to say nice things. You're good.
Running backs,
we really appreciate it.
Volume, Randy.
It sucks.
Whether it's gut or like process, running backs are volume. And I didn't start Deion Jackson either, and I'm kicking myself. So,
and he finishes it the right way. He's going to win it all anyway. Damn right, you are, Randy. I believe in you. That wasn't an end to the comment. There was just one of those little natty flies that are really bothering my area of Kentucky right now, right close to my eye, and I was trying to blow it away. That wasn't like Seth. 12-team Superflex start 8.
Start 8 in 12-team. Wow.
0.25 points per carry as well. Inbox, give Ramondre Stevenson, so he's worth a little bit more, but also a little bit less because it's start 8. Plus an early mid 23 second.
Is this the same?
We did that one, didn't we?
I think we did this one. But we didn't know the 0.25 carry at the time.
That start 8? Like that's
definitely
Ramondre Stevenson.
He's going to start for you for the next until Damian Harris is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 17 carries and 5 targets last week, or 4 targets.
Yeah, 0.25 that boosts it up. But I still rather the first.
I would rather have the first also.
Yeah. But that evens out the start 8, I think. Yeah, that's fine. What are we doing with Wandell? I mean, hold. He's had some volume of the recent years. He's not one of the rookies that's showing out at all yet, but neither's David Bell, and I'm holding him too.
There have been several, and I hate to throw PFF under the bus, but there have been several PFF guys tweet out about Wandell Robinson in the last week or two. I would go on Twitter, retweet them to all of my league mates, and see if I could make a profit on Wandell is a player that I'll trade. I think he's replaceable.
Get a second if you can.
Yeah. So
that's if his value is going up for essentially no reason whatsoever, then trade him.
And I think where you say the Giants only have one weapon, I think weapon is debatable.
No, he's saying they only have one weapon, and it's Saquon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's not what you think, but that's what I'm turning it into.
Yep.
The team isn't even the reason for me, though. Like, good players can show out in bad situations. Not that that's a plus, but it's just he's not doing anything particularly to distance himself from the crowd of players we hope to see something from right now. So if his hype's driving his value up, trade it.
And it was super funny because everyone was like, I saw like 4 or 5 tweets that are like, now you see what Wandell Robinson can do. And I went and looked, and I'm like, he got 2 catches for 19 yards. Like, what? Yeah.
They must have been really, really good catches.
I don't know what I don't know what he ended up with, but like at the time those tweets went out, they were like, now you see. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess he made a catch.
Rondell Moore did more last week. I mean, what on top of Burrow can get you Herbert and Superflex? They shouldn't be valued very differently at all. I mean, it's preference. I mean, it's a tip.
I mean, I still think I have Herbert in a tier above Burrow. Just wanted to make sure I said that correctly out loud.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. That's fine.
I mean, I still think you're talking a late first at least. I mean, if I have Herbert, I don't think I'm taking Burrow in a second.
Yeah, they're just
but I'm probably not trading you Burrow in a first to get her. Like,
oh, absolutely.
But in the second, that's the thing. It's a tier for me. It's like
that's what exactly. Yes, like to the point where just don't do it. I think is really what it comes down to. Like, I would not want to send Burrow.
That's too close.
But I think if it were me,
do you have Zach Wilson? I had a first. See if they're crazy. No, I had 2 first. But yeah, Burrow's too close. I don't think he can squeeze out a trade. Now, if you just love Herbert and want to get Herbert, add a second, see if they're into it. But like the value is too close. I couldn't tell you to offer anything more than that unless you want to remove value from your team because you love Herbert so much. Which is it's your team. I have players that I just love, so I want them on my team. It's a thing you can do, but know that you're giving up probably value for it. 14-team Superflex tight end premium. Trade Lamb and 2 probably later firsts. I added the probably. For Higgins, Diggs, and Brian Higgins and Diggs and Brian Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah. That's actually a fair CD Lamb offer. Yeah.
Diggs is doing so well.
Diggs is wide receiver 1?
Yeah. He's at like 25 points per game, something like that.
Yeah.
And some say very talented. So that's nice.
I'm really sad I can't just do this anymore, though.
I just got real Top Gear. And some say
that's probably where I stole that from.
Stig.
My favorite late round NFL draft pick in the history of since T.Y. Hilton. It was awesome. Very few things stand out that clearly. Outside of Laquan Treadwell ain't gonna do shit against him and Thielen. that was my only other Minnesota stuff. I feel like there's a Jake Anderson joke there that I'm just not quite seeing right now. Anyway, moving on.
Jake Anderson,
BJ
that's the joke.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I need someone else to throw shade. He doesn't even see my tweets anymore at this point. I don't think. He's just muted me. If he blocked me, I'd know. So he's muted. It's like the worst block. BJ Lee, trade went down today. 1 QB, 12 teams, start 9. Get Kamara and Jacobs. Give Jacoby Myers, Mixon, and a 23-second. I hate the trade.
I mean, that's weird, but it's not bad.
Trade. Both teams seem to be trying to accomplish the same thing. That's what I
would prefer Kamara and Jacobs. Maybe
it's funny because I think I'm on the other side of it, but it's not by a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a fine. It's weird, but it's fine.
I think you can get similar for Mixon as you could for Kamara and Jacobs from a lot of
Jacobs is doing really.
So I kind of and I like getting Jacoby. Like everyone kind of undervalues the non-top 24, top 24 wide receiver.
Kamara's at least double digits the past 2 games, which makes me happy.
Mixon for me right now in this season is a trade target because I think he has underperformed.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
but he's still getting the volume. Like he should be producing more,
unless that offensive line is just so bad. He finally.
Well, no, but I mean, like he's getting the work and he's getting the targets and he's like he will produce. He will.
I think that's where I'm at in both Kamara and Mixon. I think Mixon's top 12 and upside is probably underrated, and so is Kamara, where he's struggled with injury, and so they kind of nix each other. Jacobs for Myers in a second kind of sucks, but I mean, what else are you going to get for Jacobs right now? So I'd probably rather have the Myers in a second and then go try and trade Mixon when he starts producing points.
Jacobs is RB5.
Oh, I know. He's doing great this year. After they cut him in the first week of the preseason.
That
was everybody lost
shocking.
Their minds. Everybody lost their minds. They were like, he's still in the second quarter.
I find it shocking that they re-signed him.
I just had the gif of standing at the gallows and first time because I have lived Josh McDaniels for the last however long, and like this is what he does. He has to be the smartest man in the room, or at least make you think he knows something that you don't.
Yeah, and the other side's getting Kamara and Jacobs, which is 2 solid starting running back.
Yeah, I don't think either side is a loss.
No, I mean, Jacobs is David Montgomery. He's giving you a top 5 season, and no one's going to care in terms of a trade. So, I mean, it's fine. Gary Russell. I don't know why I have the hardest time with the simplest things. I don't know. What's up, fellas? I'm working on a deal that will land me Devo, Justin Herbert. That'd be nice. As part of that trade, he has to give up Treylon Burks, Sky Moore, Dotson, and Javonte Williams. A lot of maybe a boats, but also a lot of.
I'm guessing that's Jameson because those just goes along with the rookie wide receivers.
I would give up
that's
Sky
what
Moore or Dotson
like that.
easy.
Easy. Yep.
Yeah, Burks is the only one on this list that holds.
Well, and I think
At
Jameson
all.
Williams, I would
Everyone else
hold
is
because
deal.
I think his value is low right now and will come up when he comes back. And so
Yeah, but
it's
yeah.
well, I mean, if you can pick between four of them, Peter, like it's Sky.
No,
Moore or
it's not
Dotson
that.
to
I was
me.
trying to figure out where my mind was going somewhere different. I assumed Williams was being held to a first value, and so was Burks, and Sky Moore and Dotson might be slightly up because they've done things that are slightly more impressive. But you're right. Off the cuff, per ADP, Williams and Burks are probably the ones that I suspect I'm slightly higher on than average. So yeah, I get what you mean. I'd be really happy to deal Dotson and Sky Moore to get anything like that deal done.
Yep.
The other two, I'm not scared to move them for those two, to be real clear. But
like honestly, any
If I
of
can keep
you
them,
get
I will.
those two players.
yeah,
move any of them.
we're good.
If you have the choice, I would move Sky Moore or Dotson first.
And if you don't, I don't hate it at all. We're just talking about it because that's what we do, Gary.
Cheers
No,
for the
go
Reds
do
and
that
Tigers.
trade. That'd be awesome. BJ Lee, he's
Yeah, so the
Give side
Kamara
is
Jacobs
champion.
side was.
yeah.
Oh no, that's the get. The give side is Myers Mixon in a second.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's an odd one.
Well,
such a
it's trying to
weird
make
trade for some reason.
it's trying to make a move for points with Kamara and
Yeah.
Jacobs and hope that they are Kamara and Jacobs continues to be what he's been.
And he's probably right. I just also think Mixon's points are going to come. I'm with you. He's got like all the volume. If they could just block a little bit. I'm guessing that's what the problem is because he's getting the volume. We know he's a pretty decent player.
Joe
And I
Burrow's
hear
on-
people complaining about Joe Burrow's offensive line all the time. So I assume that
he's like on target for like 112 sacks or something like that this year.
God damn.
That's like 3 games of Matt Ryan. That's impressive.
There are so many potential Andrew Lucks right now. I'm terrified, to be honest with
They
you.
got him Jamar Chase, so everything's fine.
I mean, at least.
Hey, we're all the
say
way
did that,
back to
Vern.
the start of the show.
Nice!
Are we an hour and 10 minutes behind?
Yeah.
We suck. I suck.
We have been talking.
Well,
a
no,
lot.
because we actually have made up 3 hours because the question started at 6:30.
I like the way you think, Zach. I like it. I like it.
I don't know how we get so far behind.
I know exactly
G-Money.
how we get
I
so
would
far.
say, have
behind.
you listened to the 3 of us talk, Peter?
I really don't know how it happens. G-Money, in a non-tight end premium league, how do you value tight ends? There are 2. Sometimes I always convince myself there are more than 2. We're lucky if there are 2 that are worth what tight end can be. But something I was
Usually
looking
the
at
other
just
is more
before
than
this
2.
season kicked off is tight ends are more often league winners in that they're producing more points above what you pay in startup drafts than any other position. They're more consistently on that list.
I have a flow
Um,
chart.
Or there's just Mark Andrews, or maybe Kelsey.
Yeah.
Or
Wait, what's
Kyle
that?
Pitts, because someone else will value him.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
a-
What's the picture next to Travis Kelce?
Is he Mark Andrews? Yes or no? If not, is he Kyle Pitts? Yes or no? If he is, then he matters to someone else in your league. If not, is he Travis Kelce? If he is, he'll score points. If not, everything else is a tight end wasteland.
Yep.
Other than Moose.
No, stop with your mouth. He's part of
No,
the tight end
I will
wasteland.
not. I will not.
Okay.
Top 12, year 2. It's good. What I would say, G Money, is if it feels like we ignored the fact it's a tight end premium, it's because it's exactly the same for me, unless it's
At
very
least in
significant.
non-tight end premium.
And then it just exaggerates that gap even harder. So, yeah.
Go get the top guys because that's the easiest way to gain an advantage.
Especially in a
Yeah.
0.5, it's almost just the touchdowns that matter, or Kyle Pitts, or Kelsey, or
Not Kyle Pitts. Kyle
No.
Pitts doesn't. Kyle Pitts
because
only
someone
matters
else will
'cause
value.
of
I'm going by
value.
your
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah.
It's funny, like it was born out of laziness for me of not wanting to have to pick which tight end to play. But now it's just like I have, unfortunately, it's Waller and a bunch of them, but like all my competing teams have
Yeah.
Kelsey, Andrews, or Waller, and there is one team that has Kelsey and Andrews, and I feel like
Just
I have elevated testosterone levels for the first time in my life.
I was gonna say you look beefier.
Like,
Now I know
say
that,
and
you
my
suddenly
beard
look
grows a little bit.
hunkier.
Well,
Yeah.
so Russ,
Yeah.
all of the leagues that I play in with you, I think you commission, so they're the 1.75 premium, and I know that you can attest to this. And the only league I don't have two of those top 4 tight ends is the league that you didn't start out
Olympians
as the commissioner, and I still have Kelsey in that league.
Yeah, I didn't make the scoring.
But in the other leagues where it's 1.75 premium, I have some combination of 2 of Andrews, Kelsey, Kittle. I had Waller, but I traded him to you, but like that's the way to attack that position. Or completely
and it's also just remembering, like 60% of the position every year is Schultz last year, it's Knox last year, it's Gerald Everett and Njoku this year.
Right.
It happens. Those late round tight ends happen a lot. And then you've got the people undervalue, even though we've seen them do something significant. Like Muth is going to be one of the Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert. And I had another name ready to hand. Kittle. Who enters that middle class that if there's value on them, sure, I'll try and exploit it. But I'm not excited because I don't believe they're one of those top 2. And especially in the 0.5 premium, it all just becomes who catches a touchdown, which just exaggerates that all that mess all the more. So yeah, TJ Keene 96. I wonder what TJ Keene 95 is like. And a 10 team,
just a little younger than TJ Keene, or a little older. Sorry,
you think it's an age thing? Cool.
I don't know.
That's where my mind went also. Just 1 year different.
Is this 3 Superflex? Opinions?
Maybe it's super duper flex, yeah.
What would you pay up to tear up from Trevor Lawrence to Herbert? If it's a 3 Superflex, even if it's just a regular Superflex, easily 2. Yeah. Easily 2.
Even in a regular Superflex league, you're not getting Herbert for T-Law in 1 first.
Herbert's the right on the cusp of the difference maker tier, and Lawrence is right on the cusp of the I hope he's a good quarterback tier.
Yeah, and between them was like 2, so it's not even like it's a straight.
Yeah.
The House Cat 100. Hey, hello, Peter. Not just me, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Is it crazy to offer Jonathan Taylor for Damian Pierce in season-long standard scoring, given that Pierce has passed his bye and is not injured? Yes. If this is a dynasty league, this is
it's not a dynasty league. It's season-long.
In season-long,
season-long. Oh yeah.
In Dynasty, in Trade Addicts 1,
Dynasty, that'd be crazy.
Najee Harris for Damian Pierce happened.
No.
And to think you could have just gotten him for a straight up 23 first this preseason.
You do it now.
And literally everyone made fun of it because it was a bad idea, but it's paid off. So can't you look? And yeah, no, I don't think that's too crazy right now. So easy to get done because of name value, right? Benjamin Easley, 10 team. How do you not win a redraft league? Those redrafters got it so easy. I'm just going to pretend. 1.5 tight end premium, start 9. I want to do a price check on Herbert. What do I have to send realistic? What's a good offer to send for Herbert when he has Dak and maybe Pittman to go get him with?
Dak and Pittman should be a solid offer.
I just think that should be a
start
solid
there.
offer.
Assuming Dak's coming back soon?
Yeah. I think I saw it was cleared
recently.
Fall
into the trouble putting Dak in this trade is that he's not scoring points now.
He might not be able to start him this week. Maybe wait till he starts. But I think if you're just looking not to send a bad offer, then that would be a great first offer. Maybe you don't get that done, but they're not. I don't think they should feel insulted by that offer. I think it's good.
Injury update 6 hours ago. Dak Prescott is medically cleared. Will take majority of first team reps.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who else did I see? Sam Darnold, was it? One of those quarterbacks we'd rather forget is back and practicing as well. I think it was Darnold. Giddy up. Hey, gents, is giving Mixon and a 23 first, mid to late, for Higgins or Waddle too much?
No, do that.
No. In fact, that's a good trade. I would.
In fact,
highly
clone
recommend
Mixon
both.
and then
do twice. Do both.
Yeah, trade for both of them.
Clone Mixon. Oh, that'd be fun.
I think I prefer to have Waddle if you got a choice.
That's the other thing.
I prefer to have Waddle, but I like Higgins. Yeah, Higgins is not there. It's just blank wall.
Still gonna do it because I need it.
He's gonna get outvoted though. Like I would trade it. I would send it to the Waddle owner first, and then the Higgins owner if he rejected it. But
yeah, I would say. But there's not that much to choose between the two of them, and I like Higgins, but I prefer Waddle. Higgins came back
and got it. He came back. That's how strongly he feels about this. Yep. Mitchell Grady, 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR. David Bell for Tyler Boyd. I'm a contender.
That doesn't help.
No, I don't think you can start Tyler Boyd. I like Tyler Boyd. I don't think you can definitely start him. So.
Chaser Higgins go out.
Right.
So David Bell.
No, I've been starting him in a deep enough league, and he's been doing fine. He puts up top 36 points per game, I think, on average. But no, this is just. I brought
on to Bell and hope something happens like that. That's where I am on this.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to try and move something else to get points for a contender team. I don't think David Bell's it right now.
Yeah.
Full PPR, 1 QB. Where's the rest of your question here, Brian? Dak Pickett, right?
Pickett.
One of them. Chase Diggins, Pittman, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Gerald Wilson, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's on a lot of rosters. Donald Mooney's, Ramondre Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins. This is his team. Obviously, I need a running back. Not necessarily. Okay. But who do I move? Okay, so if you've got this team, what kind of offers are you trying to send for what kind of running back? It's hard, but let's see. I'm not moving Chase. I'm not moving Diggs because I'm trying to score points. Pittman's no. Mike Williams, Christian Kirk. Those are the pieces I want to move.
See, the thing is, wait one more week and see if Mooney does well again.
Oh, I'm keeping Mooney for now. Yeah,
I would then take Mooney and Mike Williams. See if you can get yourself up to a Josh Jacobs player.
In Dynasty, I just keep Mooney right now. One more week isn't. I think he's a better longer-term player, and I'm just going to hold him. But I would take Kirk and Gibson and add him to Stevenson and try and go a tier up some of those players we've been talking about.
I'm hanging on to Stevenson. I think what I'm going to do is look in that Williams and Kirk tier, and I'm going to try to trade for somebody like Miles Sanders, who people have been off, but has been scoring and is still young enough that he's got some value next year too. So that's I think what I would try to do. I don't think I think, Brian, you're going to be happier with Stevenson than you think right now.
You can start him at least next week, and
you're going to start him
after that, and the week after. So
you're going to start him for a while until Damian Harris is back, because he's going to be the back. I don't think that the Patriots coaching staff trusts any of the young players to do what Stevenson is doing.
Looks like it.
And so I think you're going to be happy there. Dobbins is going to be kind of week to week touchdown dependent. Herbert will be dependent on an injury to Montgomery. Yeah. So
a fine running back 2 with upside, but it is like a flex running back 2 almost.
Trade Pitts for Ertz and a really good running back.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Kelsey. What's the Kelsey team doing right now? Pitts for Kelsey might get a running back on top, depending on what they've got. I think we're giving you roughly what we're kind of saying. I'm strongly in favor of packaging up Mike Williams and Kirk together, or with one of those running backs that they didn't put on the no list, and trying to go up to Joe Mixon, like we were just saying. He's been underperforming volume and going right up for that top 12 value. But I mean, all of those are potential. But those are the assets we'll be trying to move to do it. And that
But also, I would say
smart on a contender.
Sorry, if this is like the league setup is like mine, where you only have to start one running back, I would not do anything. I would run out Ramondre for as long as you can, and then figure it out then.
To be honest, Chase and Diggs are who are going to be winning you this league, and you can start startable running back points with this lineup as it is. So it doesn't necessarily, like you said, you need a running back. Like I think you just play block at running back almost, like you're blocking their running back points by doing just enough. And like Zach says, Stevenson might even impress you over the next few weeks. So it's not just a block, and Hunt can definitely put up a game or two. And you're going to be winning with Chase and Diggs, and you don't have to give up much at all. But I would still explore trades. I'm a big fan of going that, and that's why I try and package up to get that top 12 value. But it's your team. I would play it one of those ways. They're all pretty much best. Everyone else looks bored. I'm moving on. Ben, rebuilding. 10-team, 1 QB, have Breece Hall, Dameon Pierce, weak at wide receiver, have 523 first, 2 top 4 picks. How do I maximize these value? Well, hopefully your league recognizes that Dameon Pierce is a win now team, and you go look at your standings, figure out who the top 5 teams are, and says, hey, you want to win? Give me shit. Well, not shit, and also maybe don't swear at them, but like, here you go. Here's a win this year. That's definitely a winning piece. And we're worried about his value this offseason a little bit, just a little bit, because he's going to put up points, and see what you can squeak out from the wide receiver, tight end, or picks, because you're rebuilding.
With Breece Hall, whatever, if you can get a good wide receiver for Pierce, which you should be able to do right now in a 1 quarterback league, and then 5 firsts, you might have a good team next year.
You will have a good team
so
next year.
Don't panic. Don't do anything like outlandish. But Pierce is definitely, his value will never be higher than right now with him scoring this many points, because it will forever be the James Robinson. Well, they're going to replace him this year. Well, they're going to replace him this year. Well, they're going to replace him this year. And it doesn't matter if we have 3 years of Dameon Pierce putting up 20 points per game. He'll never have the dynasty value because he's on a rebuilding Texans team, and he was drafted in like the 4th. So Peter's right.
What I'd add is this is a really good player because of he's going to put up 20 points. Like, just have that in your mind. You can believe it or not. Just accept it on faith. That's what you should trade him as. Trust me.
Yes, get that.
Because of that tarnish, rightly or wrongly, I was wrong too. So I tarnish him, and it was wrong. But he is tarnished because of it. He's a really good player to do some of those sneaky trades that Zach and Russ have both mentioned. Like, try and get that edge at quarterback in a 1 QB league. Like, no one values Mahomes and Allen. And next year with that roster, and you've got that value, and you get something on top of them for a Dameon Pierce, hopefully, or you can't do it. Or those other 3 that he mentioned on that list. Or Outhouse, talking about the value of tight end position a couple weeks ago. Like Pitts, if you want someone that someone else is going to overvalue later. Or seek value at that position, because you can get that value that people might be underrating and get a plus with it, and you're still moving for next year while trading a piece that you know is should be very popular right now. So some of those sneaky avenues these 2 smart guys have suggested are a really good way to go with a player like that, just in case everyone says no to giving you a wide receiver because Pierce, whatever.
If you could, and I know you were going to say something, Zach, but I will forget this if I don't say it. Along the lines of what Peter just said, go get Jalen Hurts, because chances are the person who has him still thinks he's going to get replaced, and he's not going to. They're doing too well.
Yeah, if your quarterback is not one of those 4 that we mentioned at the beginning of this, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Hurts, and who's the 4th one we mentioned?
Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, and
Lamar.
Hold on.
Allen, Mahomes, Lamar,
Hurts. And Hurts. Yeah. So one of
and
those
we can
4.
maybe add Murray. I think that was the 5th.
So like Lamar, Mahomes, Hurts.
Yeah.
If you want to add Kyler, Herbert or Burrow,
but I don't want to go
you, but I'm not
in a 1 quarterback league. I don't want to go down that far. I want to look, and if my quarterback is not one of those 4, I'm going to take my quarterback and Dameon Pierce and send them to somebody who has one of those 4 and say, here, I'll give you a scoring running back. And the thing is,
add on that, do you want to pick back with that quarterback? Because it is one quarterback league.
No,
you get
I mean, like, if you can get one, fine. But like, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna cash in, because the thing about Dynasty and in one quarterback is you get that advantage every single year, and quarterbacks don't get traded in one quarterback leagues because they don't have trade value. So you just plussed up your quarterback for what Dameon Pierce you spent a second on.
I think it's a really smart idea. I would send it with a plus, even if it's a TJ Hawkinson or a Dallas Goedert or a second. But if you just want it smash accepted, like every Twitter poll, every trade calculator is going to tell them that's a great deal. And it is. They're getting a good deal. They're going to get 20 points per game of running back and another quarterback to start. And it's also a good deal for that. And it would be a smash accept, which is why I like that. If everything else fails, and you should actively try and do that as not a last resort, but a really good option that you're probably going to get accepted this week if you send all those offers and got all those responses between now and then. I just interrupted again. I give myself a negative gold star. Okay. Anyone else want to finish their thought that I ran over? I got excited.
I was done. I said you guys were right, and I was ready to move on.
Recovering Ridley Truther. It's a great internal human timeless debate. Cool. Do we have to trade the first so they don't burn me? But in waiting, risk losing, not making the playoffs. Generational mind scratcher.
But if you don't make the playoffs, your first is better. So
it's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm missing the debate.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be more valuable no matter what pick it is. It's going to be more valuable in 3 weeks and 6 weeks and 9 weeks.
So if you're at a point where you might miss the playoffs, hang on to your pick. Like, whatever.
If one player is the difference between you thinking you're winning the league or not making the playoffs, just miss the playoffs.
If it's not against your bylaws, make that happen. Costy's got a guillotine league question for us, because I think you're the only one who plays in those actively.
I do play in them.
Or it might just be he's
those are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. Team is stacked at wide receiver and have running back and Goff and Jimmy. Hurts and Lamar hit the waiver. I have 100% of my budget left. Do I go in on those guys? Honestly, I'm very confused.
Hold on. I have to find out what their bye weeks are.
All right.
Lamar's bye week is 10. Hurts's bye week is 7. Dang. Yeah, I'd go all in on Hurts, assuming you are not bad right now. Like, if you think you could survive this week, go all in on Hurts. Easy. Because having a top 4 quarterback that had his bye week already, like, that's the advantage. That's what you want. That's what you want. So I would probably, like, assuming there's trading allowed in yours, like, that's always up in the air in guillotine leagues, but I would honestly put 100% of my budget on Jalen Hurts.
Nice. I assume that's the perfect and correct answer, to be honest. I bought it. It sounded confident to me. Reed Bryan. Why did I say Ryan Bryan? I suck.
You just like
just traded for Pickens. Just traded 4 Pickens for Andy Dalton and
I think that
early
first
23 third.
To go away.
Yeah, it's Pickens for.
Dalton,
he got Pickens for Dalton and a third, and that's awesome. I think.
Got Pickens. I traded 4 Pickens. Traded Andy Dalton.
I want Pickens over Dalton and a third. So if you got Pickens, that is freaking great.
Yes.
If you didn't, I'm sorry you made a bad move.
Yes.
I think you did well, Reed.
That's like golden value for like Pickens right now. I'd say that's awesome. Order 66, 12 teams who flex PPR, start 10. Godwin and Kenyon Drake or Hollywood? Hollywood and Calvin Ridley in a second. I'm on the Hollywood side. I don't care what your rats tell me about how good Godwin is.
I mean, Godwin's good, but
Can you cross off Godwin and Hollywood at this point?
yeah, I think it's pretty close.
I'll take Ridley in a second over Kenyon Drake. So
Yeah.
Drake's been somewhat startable. I get it, but no, I just want Hollywood.
That's just your J.K. Dobbins truther coming out in you. That's what that
Recovering Ridley truther. What's your definition of farm, though? Okay. I have Andrews in a 2 tight end premium league. A guy sent me just Tyreek Hill and thought that was a haul. No.
I mean,
it's fine, but it's not a haul.
I mean, there's a 2-point difference between Andrews and Hill. Sorry.
Hill.
Hill, first of all, is like 4 years older than Andrews, and Andrews is in a position where it doesn't matter how old you are usually.
And he's got more positional advantage.
And exactly, the positional advantage over just a wide receiver. That's not a haul at all. Even if we're talking, hold on, I have DLF October ADP up. So hold on, Control F. Andrews is 16th
Control F
overall. Tyreek Hill is 21st overall. So even with no premium, Andrews is above.
And then you talk positional advantage, and it's agreed. Really true there. Agreed. Speaking as a guy who grew up with 20 acres, horses, a couple of goats, we had corn, we had squash. I understand the farm.
Yeah, but
You all right, Pete?
Not really. Right. To be clear, we're disagreeing with Ridley Truther here. He's saying he thought Tyreek Hill for his Andrews was a haul. And
no,
I'm saying,
he said
no.
A guy thought that. Ridley Truther does not think that. A guy thought that.
I disagree with someone. I know I disagree with someone. Andrews all day, just in case it's not clear. Yeah. I need a little help here.
How much to sell Heineke for in my 12-team Superflex? I'm rebuilding. Yes. I will take a second and jump for joy.
Yep.
I guess. Yes. Michael Cole, 12-team Superflex, start 10, tight end premium. Give Lamar and ETN. Get Tua, Waddle, Akers, a 23 first that's mid to late. I want to take Waddle and Tua just because I like them, but I think that also is the value.
Man. No, I'm taking Tua and Waddle. I'll bet that Tua's what he showed he could be, hopefully, through the first game sample.
Like, we're saying that we don't want to give a first for ETN, in which case, Tua, Waddle, and a first, I think should be worth more than Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
So leftover of that and Akers should be more than enough to cover ETN plus. And plus you're getting 2 starters that I feel better in starting Tua and Waddle than Lamar and ETN, and you're getting a first.
Yeah, really I value Lamar in those 4 quarterbacks we just named. And I might be giga-braining this, but I freaking love having Jalen Waddle in Dynasty right now. So I might be doing it just for those reasons. And I'm really like Tua finally putting something together here and trying to remind us of what we really thought it could be early. But let me tell you why how I'm giga-braining it, just in case it matters. It's just a story I'm weaving. But the reason Josh Allen has been consistently the the Dynasty quarterback 2 for literally every other Dynasty ranker outside of a couple here and there is because he runs. And that carries injury risk, and we've seen running quarterbacks. I know, it shouldn't be, but that is why I have quizzed them.
Yeah.
And that's why they dock him. Lamar Jackson has underperformed. He hasn't at all, by the way, over the last few weeks. And he is much more the running quarterback in people's heads. That's all stupid.
Yeah.
Granted. But I think it keeps him where his value is. And it's like a second tier within those 5 quarterbacks we're talking, which is why I like him so much. He's got like a ding on him that shouldn't exist, like Hurts. So I'm not sure his value is exactly where it should be. If Tua can fucking play for 16 games healthy, and we're right that his upside is there, even if he just shows it through a small sample, if he gets back healthy the rest of the season, I think this trade is more on the Tua and Waddle side by August. That's my gig. It's complete nonsense, but I just want Waddle, and I like Tua, and I don't mind getting the first. So, like, that's enough for me.
Can we? So, Michael, if I'm you, I counter and try to cut this back to what do I need to put with ETN to get Waddle?
If that's on the table, I'm good with that.
Like, that's what I would rather do.
That's actually probably the much better answer.
Yeah, I do want to say out loud, even though it goes against everything I want to say out loud, the Tua game where he went nuts and like we built that fire in our bellies for we've been right this whole time.
Yeah,
was against the Ravens, who have done that to every team they've played against.
That's fair. And we really haven't seen it
good this season anyway, so I'm still all aboard. But I did want to say that out loud in case you think that's going to be an every week thing. It's not.
The first is really important to this trade too, just because you can do more and more teams. But to be real clear here, if you give up Lamar, you are giving up the best player in this deal, which is normally not what you want to try and do. So reworking it to not being given up Lamar but get Waddle, that's the best way forward. Zach's right. But I really wanted to rant, I guess. I don't know. Michael, 12 teams through Flex. And also, I didn't think of it and wouldn't think of it because I suck at trades. Tight end premium, start 10. Give AJ Brown, Pollard, McBride, get Gabe. No.
Nope. No. Don't care that there's a first involved. Gabe. No.
Not trading Gabe Davis at his value right now. Not doing it. And that's not hate. That's just, I don't hate Gabe Davis. This isn't like a preseason take or just sticking to my guns. This is modifying the fact that I was somewhat wrong, like significantly wrong on Gabe Davis's upside. Definitely holding the L. It is nowhere close to AJ Brown's upside. Like not the same stratosphere at all.
Like if you told me that was an early first, it might change my thoughts a little bit, but you're giving up like a top 5-6 wide receiver and getting a lot of blah back.
Yeah, and everything else nulls out here. It's the first and Davis for AJ Brown. Kind of straight up.
I mean, that's how I was thinking about it. Though I love that I'm starting Bellinger in a couple of leagues, and it keeps working out.
I say you had another good game this past week.
He's catching touchdowns.
Yeah.
Would you? Did you disagree on that, Zach? I'm actually because I don't think I'm negatively on Gabe. I don't think this is a Gabe Davis take, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic.
No, I would rather have AJ Brown than Gabe Davis in a first.
Okay, just checking. It's good to check. Professor Chaos, hey buddy. Hope that eye fixes. 14 team Superflex PPR start 10.
Just dress him up like a dog and take him to the vet. It's fine.
That's what I always do. Jalen Hurts, or I do know the reference. Just be clear. Jalen Hurts, or too early 23 first, and can't make it. Sometimes I'm too good of an actor. That's my curse. You know. Back to the question. Jalen Hurts, or too early 23 first, and can't make it. It's a Superflex league. I think that's it hurts. I mean, too early first, but still hurts.
It's
right.
Yeah, it still hurts, but it's not hurts by much.
Okay. Here's the thing.
If there was anything that wasn't Akers.
In a 14-team league, I can't, in good conscience, sell. Hold on, how old is he?
Like 20.
23, 24. A 24-year-old top 4 quarterback.
Yeah.
For picks,
right?
Like that does not compute. So, like, I don't want to trade Hurts away for that, but honestly, I don't know if I would feel okay sending those picks for Hurts.
Oh, I would. What are you hoping those picks become?
If one of those becomes the
Hurts,
Bijan will be worth more than Hurts.
In a Superflex?
Hurts and Brees Hall. Give me both.
Bijan will be the running back 1, and he will be taken after the top 5 quarterbacks drafted, and Hurts still won't be a top 5 quarterback drafted next year.
Oh, god damn you, Russ. Sorry, I just saw the trade. I finally got. I hate you.
Is it good? I clicked buttons.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
And
now I got 2 trades that I don't like, but are good, and I don't
Mine
not
helps
like
your
them.
team more than his does.
My indecision. Where
you want to put it?
Yeah,
Zach.
it's a better trade.
The crowd.
Walker, a mid-23 first, possible playoff team. Walker. A possible playoff team? That's not as strong as I need it to be clearly on Walker.
Possible
side.
means it's mid. It means they're probably not going to win unless they get lucky.
And Michael, you might have meant that way. And like, if you're like, I'm kicking ass this year, and I'm doing is adding an extra 5 points per game to my roster with this trade. I'm all about winning, man. I don't mind it. But if you're just like talking about making yourself more competitive, then it's just seems it's not it. I think I can get better with a first.
Well, I mean, Zach, I mean, is Walker showing who we thought he was, or is there anything different that you've seen in the past 2 games?
He looked pretty much what I expect. Like, he's a really good runner.
Good running back.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I haven't looked. I just know his points, to be honest with you. What has his targets been like? But it's the Seahawks. It almost literally doesn't.
Do you think the Seahawks are going to continue to overproduce on offense? Like, is Geno Smith going to keep this offense moving the way it is?
Honestly, it's looking like Russell Wilson was a system quarterback, and I'm not really joking. I don't know quarterback very well, but I can't see a reason not to think that. He's not overproducing. Well, actually, he is to the tune of 6 points per game, but that's like a Russell Wilson like look. Sorry, let me switch over to Walker, which is really the question.
Oh, look, Walker's getting a bunch of carries. I mean, he had 21 carries last week and scored a touchdown, but he's still only being targeted 2-3 times a game. Like, he is what he is.
I mean, it's the Seahawks. It's not even about if he can or if they will. It's the Seahawks. They will not. So,
well, I mean, but
it's got 6% target share.
They've done it before. They've done it with
Carson had a decent amount of receptions, but it was Marshawn. But that was because it was Marshawn.
Targets. No, it's just not.
Marshawn on a wheel route was money. Like, it's
right. But that's it. Like, again, I think that if I'm competing this year, I want Walker because he's going to score me points, and then I think I can trade Walker for pretty close to that at the end of the year. If I am not competing, I'd rather have the first.
That's not a bad point. It is all about how possible is your playoff team.
Yeah.
And that's the gauge I'd use to accept or not.
See, here's the thing. Like, we hold on. Words in correct orders to make sentences. Before, we were saying wait as long as you possibly can to send your first because weird things can happen. I think it's a little different when we're talking about young players because, first of all, them getting hurt. Players getting hurt sucks, and it sucks for their value. But if you trade your first for Dameon Pierce, for Kenneth Walker, you probably won't have a hard time moving them later, like Zach just said. So, like, that seems a little less risky than doing it for someone like Derrick Henry or of like Josh Jacobs or Mixon, like these older guys where their value is going to go down. Oh, that's right. You block those porn bots.
Damn right. I was scrolling. I was like, "God, we got so much," and then I saw that. I was like, "I'll do that one." He answers it correctly. Carls, what are your thoughts on the Lions' offense? Poopy.
It's doing well.
No, the Lions'
it's
offense
doing
is great.
fine.
Their defense is terrible.
Yeah,
which helps their offense.
No, JMO will not pass Amon-Ra this season.
No. I was more talking about, I don't think that's the offense. I mean, the skill players are good, but you've got I think you have to do better than Goff long term, which puts that in question, and that continually raises questions, whether it's right or wrong on Amon-Ra and DeAndre Swift. I hate that for Dynasty. But, the offense is doing fine by itself. Like, J-Mo is potential, and we kind of like his potential where his value's at, but I think in Dynasty we do tilt towards that. That's why I've got that whole argument about whether quarterbacks matter or not. We tilt on it. It's not Aaron Rodgers, so they can't be good. And as you're seeing this year, even Goff can hit the Andy Dalton line,
Well, but we said that. I'm still going back to find that clip because I know it was either with you and Jacob Rickroad or with the three of us where we said, you look at those weapons, Goff could be sneaky this year because was it here?
Yeah.
Okay,
so I mentioned him having him with my
and I think you're seeing that. And do I expect Jameson Williams to pass Amon-Ra St. Brown? No. We have seen Amon-Ra St. Brown be very good when healthy.
He is
you guys,
exactly who
have you seen where he is in October's ADP?
St. Brown, no.
And sometimes Dynasty gives you this chance to just recognize that
Do you want to guess?
A top 12 player and no one else wants to admit it.
Do you want to guess where Amon-Ra St. Brown is overall in one quarterback?
No. Wide receiver 14. Wide receiver 3?
Wow.
Chase, Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, so
fourth overall.
Wow.
JT came in at 3.
People really just hate CD and Waddle, don't they? I don't know.
I'm impressed that people are that on
St. Brown. I don't think that reflects the majority, does it?
But I want to,
and that's too high.
But yes,
that's too high.
The last, I want your opinion on this, Zach. The last part of this, are you selling JMO before he's back?
So I probably am, depending on what I can get. If I can get a 23 first, then absolutely I am. Because I think that the 23 class is better than this class that we had. And Jameson Williams was about wide receiver 5 or 6 for me in this class. And so, yes, I'm going to make that bet. And I'm also making the bet that the 23 first holds value, where if Williams comes back and falls on his face, which may happen because
it happens to great players all the time. Or bad players, mostly. Yeah. But is there anyone on that offense you think is valued less or significantly less this offseason compared to right now? Goff is probably the clear answer, but I think he's a fine, usable quarterback if he keeps the job. That's the only one I can think of. I think Goff's value is kind of low as it is, and it probably doesn't get higher. I think it's easier to trade him right now while he's scoring points. That's the only one I can think of.
It's one of those things where Goff's value will never get high again.
Yeah,
because he's Jared Goff.
But if the team wants points right now, it might be a better trade market for him right now.
Is he worth acquiring? Is a different question than what's his value. Like, just because he's scoring points doesn't mean you're going to get a first for him. You're not going to get a first for Goff.
Outside of getting
worth sending a second for, absolutely, if you want the points.
Say more thing in broad term, like is it worth trading any of them away right now because you're worried about their August value? If I can get wide receiver 3 value in Amon-Ra, then yeah, but I don't think I can. Jared Goff right now, I think there are more teams that might be more interested in paying his value right now because they're in season. They might be looking for points. Swift, stronghold. J-Mo, like I said, stronghold. Outside of that first. So Michael Cole, 12-team Superflex tight end premium start 10. JT, Mac Jones, Gordon, or Watson, a 23 first, and Mooney.
I'm assuming Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's got to be Superflex, the only thing that matches that value. Or comes close to it.
Don't want Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But the value is on that side, though, unfortunately.
Yep. Gross.
Yeah. Super gross. Robert, Superflex full PPR Dynasty trade Russ and Sutton for Dak and Brandon Cooks in a 23 third.
I don't care how bad Russ is doing. I'm still sticking with Russ and Sutton. Wow. Sorry, I just pulled up the DLF trade finder because this is a DLF show, so you might as well pimp it out, right? The first trade to show up for Amon-Ra St. Brown was Amon-Ra St. Brown for Ramondre Stevenson and Gabe Davis. That is not wide receiver 3 price.
Wide receiver 3 value at all.
Well, yeah, because Gabe Davis is wide receiver 5.
Amon-Ra to first for Saquon. Ew, that's gross. Amon-Ra and Jonathan Taylor for Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook. Amon-Ra for Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin in a 4th. Like, this isn't close to top 5 wide receiver like prices. Amon-Ra in the 2nd for Diggs. I mean, that's up there. Like that's respect value. It's not wide receiver 3 value, but like that's respect value.
Zach, you got an opinion on this trade? Me and Russ split it.
Man.
I think Dak's a piece by the way.
Yeah, I think it's Dak. I think it's Dak. It's gross. I think it's
Amon-Ra for Corey Davis and Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, that's not why.
That's 101 Corey Davis. Russ.
Don't hurt my feelings, Zach.
say it with some respect. Jason, 12-team Superflex, Elijah Moore or Treylon Burks? Oh, wow. Ow. Just read through the screen and physically cause me pain.
I think I'd rather have Burks.
Jason. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, sure.
CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown for James Robinson, T. Higgins, Chris Olave in a 2nd.
It's probably I only heard Higgins, so
Higgins and Olave or Lamb and St. Brown.
Lamb and St. Brown.
I mean, otherwise it's James Robinson in a 24 second. Like, I don't think that changes too much.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's the Lamb side. Mitchell, 12-team start 10, full PPR. Josh Jacobs for Marcus Brown, rebuilding. Marcus Brown.
Yeah, but I think you probably could get a better rebuilding piece than Marquise Brown. He said, as Peter rolled his eyes at me, but I think you could.
No, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't. I swear. I was gonna say go to the top 3 teams in your league, see if they've got better than Marcus Brown, and they should be willing to do that.
Yeah, and I don't mind getting Marquise Brown for that. Like, let's not get crazy, but I think you could probably do better.
Appreciate that clue. He says we can take our time, so we're cool.
It's good that we have
we do.
Well, here we are.
Try as we might. We do. That was posted at an hour and 30 minutes. An hour at least ago. Hour and 15. Weaves, evening all. Hope you're all well. Thank you, Weaves. Appreciate that. Especially for how speedily it helps me move along. Appreciate that. A2Z. Sean, traded Najee for Olave.
There you go.
Ew.
You're pretty much trading Najee for a first.
Yeah. And Olave is worth more than a first at this point for me, actually. So I think he did pretty well, considering Najee's disappointing value. But if you want points, I just keep Najee right now.
He's not scoring points, though.
No, shut up.
Sorry.
You hurt my brain sometimes, Russ. Come on, Data, spit out an answer for me. No, you're right.
Look, I agree. It's weird to be able
man.
to think to trade away Najee, who was like a running back 2 coming into this season, for someone like Olave or Damian Pierce. But like we can't even say Najee's giving us points.
So, you know how we talk about when you're looking at players coming in, situation doesn't matter for receivers as much as it does for running back. I think this is a prime example of that.
He's not even getting the volume this year. I can't even defend him that way.
Their team is just bad.
He's getting the running volume.
Team bad. Trade for Deontay instead because he's a wide receiver. There you go. But I love trading for
Deontay.
He's trying to get Mahomes off me, Zach. Tell him to stop. Frank Stump 49 almost forgot to take the hit button. I'm taking the hit. Sorry, almost forgot to hit the like button. Appreciate you, Frank Stomper. I'm in shambles right now. I am.
Peter just told me to shut the fuck up, and it has made me so happy.
I am not doing well. More than usual. Look at me. You can tell. It's clear. Week 6 is kicking my ass in so many ways. I did not like it. 12-team Superflex, ETN or Cam Walker.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's Walker.
Yeah, it's Walker.
Usually I'm on the side of the guy who catches passes, but
we all just earned extra tea. Let's
right now
not
anyway,
spoil it by getting nerdy about it. We all just got more tea. So,
Walker.
Such a good runner. Traded Walker for Javonte Williams. I actually like that, so I'm going to take my T level back down. I'm going to take Javonte Williams in that deal. Okay, especially if I'm not trying to win, obviously.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, it's not great if you need points, but
I would say that is an understatement. Yeah. Kamara or ETN? Kamara.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just.
I think I just stick with the youth. I got to be honest. I'd keep ETN, even if I need points. I don't know.
No, not if you need points. You better not.
Kamara's not. I don't know, man. Like, Kamara hasn't done great in a non-Drew Brees offense.
Okay.
Not to say that he's not bad. Not to say that he's bad or anything. It's just he doesn't get the passes that he did before.
Like a 19% target share?
Exactly.
That would be wild, right? If he was doing that.
I mean, it felt like he was getting that for a while.
I mean, he's averaging that. He's just been injured a few games. He's getting 30% of the red zone touches too. His expected points are pretty close to 18. I think he's going to come back and kick some ass if he stays healthy throughout the season.
I'll tone it
down. Crap! That's not something you should say about Alvin Kamara right now, since that's the problem he's got, right?
Fair enough.
Sorry, but yeah, Freak Stumper. I'd take ETN. I get it. I like the player's ability. Yeah, there you go. I think that those receiving chops have somewhat longer longevity, but that's yet to be proven because there's very few Alvin Kamaras we've seen to really be able to prove it. In my opinion. Dylan, someone trying to aggressively buy Wandell from me. Oh, awesome. Take. Rebuilding in a 12-team Superflex PPR. Wouldn't it be nice if people were coming after Wandell in your leagues and not like Patrick Mahomes? 1.5 tight end premium start 10. I'm looking for Javonte back.
You need to add a couple of firsts.
Where should the picks be? No, I don't think you do. I think there's a lot of buzz on trade Javonte now. I think there's a lot of buzz on he's worth any random first right now. Get it if you can.
Addison Haynes of DLF fame is leading that charge.
I know. And a lot of people listen to him and hardly anyone listens to me. So I'm pretty sure more people think that way.
In the trade, are they asking, should it be which side it should be on? Or like what level of picks should be added to Wandale to get Javonte?
He's asking the value difference between the two, I think, and where is it? And I think Wandale's worth less than Javonte.
Just put it out there that yes. Like,
yeah.
Like, throw out Wandale in a second.
Just being radical.
Happens.
You know me, Radical Pete, they call me. I would add anything like a mid to late first to Wandale to get Javante.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
You don't
That's
think
what
Whatever
I
you
want.
would pay for Javante, add that to Wandale.
Like, man.
The cool thing about this is I don't think you're giving up too many points this year either.
Won't you see what happens now with Wandale?
I know he was 3 for 39 and a touchdown. I know. I saw. I was there. I watched.
I just did my full-on donkey nerdland. What was missing was a snore. That's how right that caught me. Yeah. Someone asked for Jamal Williams. I love Jamal Williams this year, but he's a this year thing, probably value-wise. Probably because I lost Swift or has Swift. Makes some sense. What should I ask for in return? A second? Definitely don't just take a third. Try and get a second.
I'm fine with it being 24 if it has to be. Or try and get a 24 second and 23 third.
Or throw your 23 second and Williams and try to get the 24 first.
That's the ideal trade, but a second is around about his value if you have to work something out. SHOKO, hey. No good choices here. I'm not screwing up another name. But who are you rolling the dice with? Zach Wilson? No. Mariota? No. Oh.
Yes.
I haven't done projections yet. I'm in so much trouble from no one because no one ever mentions it. Mariota.
It's probably Mariota.
Yeah.
It's Mariota. Or Heineke is the third option.
You know he's going to throw the ball at least twice to Kyle Pitts.
I'm contemplating starting Mariota over like Russ Wilson in some place.
I am having to start Mariota in several places because I have no other quarterbacks. This is a week where I look at my team where I'm like, hey, I have Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. They're both on bye.
Seriously, NFL, realize that most of your money comes from fantasy football and stop doing this to us.
We're gambling.
5 weeks more fantasy football friendly.
This is the week that I lose house points for Ravenclaw because my entire team is on bye.
So please let Ravenclaw lose some points.
Nacho team, baby. Nacho team.
Sorry, it just reminded me. Cooper Adams, who apparently is no longer with DLF. I don't keep up, but apparently he's gone somewhere else. But he's still on Twitter, so it matters little. I saw him tweet last Thursday game. They should lean into the Thursday lineup, and like the worst team in the league should have to play on Thursday until they win again, and then that team who loses has to play on Thursday, and just like fully, completely say this is like a punishment thing.
That was mine. Amazon was trying really hard to get me to watch the game this past week. I was like, I see what you're doing, Amazon, but I have to wash my hair on Thursday.
Right. I gotta polish my head. Yeah, that's the equivalent. Clue.
I have to just not watch the game.
Just Darrell Henderson, get James Conner. Shrug. I don't think that helps you build.
There's nothing for.
I guess Henderson. But I don't like.
There's a better chance of the Rams bringing in more running backs than I think there is Arizona bringing in that level of running back. Like, because we're talking about maybe the Rams trading for McCaffrey, so maybe. But there's this. No, just don't even bother. Figure something else out. Go get a wide receiver.
That seems to be for you.
Talk, Russ, talk.
Go Pack Go. Currently rebuilding and thinking about trading Sky Moore. You should do that. Is he someone you're looking to buy? Nope.
He says trading for Sky Moore, so you may want to strike that, reverse it.
Is he someone you're looking to buy?
Right.
No, I'm still on the no side. I think about trading.
I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna post this on Twitter. We're gonna have fun with you, Peter. But keep going.
There are much worse clips you can do, so I appreciate that. If so, what would you say he's worth in picks? I would say don't do it. I currently have 623 seconds. I'd trade a second for him, I guess.
Find the latest one you got, and sure, why not?
Why?
I don't know. Maybe he likes Sky more.
Someone else might like him. Off-season, young rookie classes are awesome, aren't they?
Got two Ys, so he's kind of cool. It's kind of like when everyone liked Max Williams with two X's.
He played on the Wolverines, right? That's his
people.
college team. All right,
yeah, okay, yeah.
Timberwolves.
I don't know.
I'd rather trade for Juju, and that's saying something at this point. That hurt too. I thought Russ was asleep on the chair for a minute there. Oh, no. He just looks really bored whenever I'm here. It's fine.
Do I sit still long enough to look like I'm sleeping? I feel like I'm sitting here swiveling in my chair the entire time.
Yeah, you look good, man. Order 66, just wanted to say thanks to you guys. Enjoy it every week. I really appreciate that, man.
I'll say thank you for being here every week.
Yeah, seriously.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. LeBron's thoughts on Ayuk. I just got asked that on Twitter as well, because apparently I said something about him. Is he a sell after last week? My receivers are weak, but I'm building. If you're looking for someone to plug in as your wide receiver 2 every week, Ayuk ain't it this year. But I think he's underrated. And he's a top 24 dynasty wide receiver in value for me. And I'm not sure everyone is on that. So he's a buy. It's about what is a trade and what do I need. If you want points, I don't think Ayuk's it. If you can trade him high off last week, cool. I think he's got that upside on a week-to-week basis. But he's more top 36 and top 24 in points. But in value, I want a top 24. Like, I'm really interested in him because I think people might be underrating because of this season and last season, frankly, not understanding the role he plays here. And how good he's been in it. So it's an awkward question to give you one answer to, so I just gave like 3. Does that sound helpful?
I agree with all of the answers you gave, so I think it was helpful.
I hopefully got some things right there. Actually, I'm yet to get that. I really yet to get either of those wide receivers wrong, so I'm feeling pretty hot. We'll see how that goes from here. I was going to say, I don't have time to make jokes about myself right now, Pete. Move on. Hater maker money. Nice. JJ is way more efficient than Montgomery.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The end.
Totally neutral opinion.
I mean, it's a correct opinion, so it's fine.
Facts. Yeah. That's not the comparison I was making, if that was from my earlier comment. It was about his overall points per game output. Delusional Tanner, how do you feel about Deshaun Watson? It's the best we got. My rank still says the exact same thing. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just not Ghana. I've got him ranked what I think is a very fair value, fairly high considering his ceiling, but I think I'm just going to move the value if it ends up on my roster and avoid it. It's how you want to play Dynasty at this point.
He is going to be valued with...
He's got top 5 upside at the quarterback position, and he should do it when he's on the field. That's honestly...
He's going to be in that Burrow area. Yeah. Not quite in that top tier, but right outside of it.
That would be what's fair, and you might find a lot of U's like me. That means there's actually value on him, and that's up to you.
He's going to be the quarterback that if you have on your roster, you're going to be able to trade him for Jalen Hurts and a little bit.
Yeah, and don't forget, a lot of those U's died down. Kareem Hunt, we don't go U every time now, or Tyreek Hill that we were just talking about. If you want to be cold and clinical about it, not all of them, a lot of those U's died down. And I know none of those situations are any way comparable, by the way. But the trend on how faded tarnish can get is real. And that's not just fantasy football, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Freak Stomper 49. Someone wants T and offered Mixon.
Nope.
I'd take T in that deal. So, no. He's right, obviously. But I'm thinking I'm going to need a decent player to go along with Mixon to make that trade. Yes. And if you want points, it's actually a pretty good idea.
You need to go so much higher than Kareem Hunt. So much higher than Kareem Hunt. Like, I need a player at least Mixon, but I want better than Mixon.
And I don't want a running back, actually, because of the value T offers. I'd rather go for a tight end or a wide receiver, just in general. In that tier, you could do that, and then you've got a little extra on top of it because of the value of those positions. That sound right?
Hold on. So let's see. I mean, if we're talking on top of Mixon, give me someone like...
Who do people hate?
Deontay Johnson. People hate Deontay Johnson.
I was actually thinking of that name and trying to decide if it was too much.
Olave, yep.
Olave, Johnson.
I still believe in DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
If you just want points, I mean, like...
DK Metcalf's probably going to be top 12 again this year. So, like, that would be a walk-off win.
So, would you drop down a little bit to Drake London, given his...
or Wilson,
points per
target both recently.
Yeah,
I think those are lower targets, but definitely, I would be interested in it. It's not.
I think the Falcons are annoyed that they're still winning, that they're doing well, and they're just not going to. That's why they're not using Pitts. Like they don't want to do well. And London's not even really getting that many targets anymore, so it's just like
they're not being a high volume team, but the targets that London is getting, he's doing a lot with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's doing fine. He proved enough early, thankfully, before they started. I mean, for what he is, whatever. He's still got like a 31% target share. You're right on the money there. I think Deontay Johnson, if you guys think that's reasonable, that's a walk-off win for me, unless you can get DK Metcalf. That's even better.
Yeah, but like if Drake London did drop in value from, beginning of the season where he put up like 12, 24, and 14 points, because then he followed it with 3, 7, and 7.
I think that's a really smart one too, yeah.
Then go after Drake London. Yeah, because he's good, and that team can't get that much worse. So,
well, don't tempt fate, but yeah. Joe, I traded someone Latavius Murray for Dimey Brown. Why, Joe?
Because touchdown De'Ami Brown, baby.
You just don't want points. I get it. And that comes from someone who liked De'Ami Brown a lot.
Did you read the Hackett? So Hackett has now come out and said that Melvin Gordon is starting.
He's a very important part of the offense, and they're going to need all 3 running backs going forward.
No, he said he's starting this week.
But did he full out say starting?
Yeah, it's wild.
Didn't he say something like they didn't have enough attempts to give everyone?
Yeah, players? He's like, we didn't have enough. I saw Scott Fish tweet that out, and he's like, this is like when you go to the playground with your 2-year-old, and you're like, we have to go because the playground has a 2-hour time limit. Except for everybody that you're telling this to now is an adult and they have a fully functioning cognition, and so you're not fooling anybody by saying, well, we just didn't have enough runs.
He's in over. Like, Hackett is way in over his head.
So week
He's
one,
almost as deep as I would be in that situation.
Week one, let's kick a field goal. Let's kick a field goal instead of giving the ball to Russell Wilson, which in hindsight, whatever, 50-50, but it was like a 65-yard field goal. and right there, you're just like, okay. Somebody in Denver did a bad thing hiring this gentleman to be the head coach.
Joe was just trying to spread some good cheer and good fortune. I basically stripped his team down to the studs because it's just my nature. I mean, Scorpion and the Frog, Joe. You gotta do you. I hope he wins. I'm rebuilding. Ron T, would you trade McLaurin for Christian Watson and Travis Etienne? Ooh, Etienne makes it interesting.
McLaurin and Watson for Etienne? No.
I don't mind it. I think Etienne holds more value than those two. Yeah, next year. I do.
I don't care.
Okay.
Russ got a Russ. Russ got a Russ. He's all about taking on player takes and ignoring value. That's just what he does. Look at Dobbins. Look at T. Higgins. I'm just I'm joking. Obviously.
No, look at him. Look at him.
Look him right in the eye. Ricky Rice. Nice. Name a tight end worth trading for that isn't Kelsey, Pitts, Waller, Andrews.
Hurts.
Can we go back in time? Yeah, Ertz, actually, that's a great one. Always going to be undervalued. He's definitely
that might be it, though.
Yeah. I still think Muth.
That was cute. You both said the same thing. But
Not
then
Muth.
Like,
I was going to say Kittle.
If you can get Kittle super cheap, it might be worth
I
it.
think he is undervalued, and I think eventually he gets healthy. He's still not healthy.
I had to write him up this week for that last week performance, and I was like, reasons that I don't think he belongs on this list is basically the list I was making. I was like, it's just he's George Kittle. Yeah. That might sound stupid, but I think there's a reason. Like his volume has increased over the games he's been playing. His points have increased. Like his involvement's increased since he got back from that injury. And he's George Kittle. It's not like it's from nowhere, or we don't think he can do it. Like it's just, yeah, you're fully on board there. Sorry, that's stupid, but I find it remarkable when I write something and you're like, hey, this would be a good thing for people to know. I'm like, thank you, got one, because I write so many words, so few of them people feel that way about.
I'm here for you, Peter.
Randy Wyatt. I appreciate that, Zach. Someone needs to be, because I am off the wall. Let's face it. I'm just one person not being there for me to falling off the dynasty cliff into the oblivion of a void. I know. I thought I was going somewhere and ended up nowhere, which is a problem. I got problems. Randy Wyatt sent Brian Robinson and Jahan Dotson for Traylon Burks. Yes, I'd do that. And a third, but sure. I knew Burks had turf toe. Yeah. And he's going to be on an eye. He's not scoring any more points here. But
Dotson's not scoring any points now, anyways.
Robinson's got the job, and he's not scoring any points. The team doesn't care that he's not as good, but it's what it is. I think Burks. I think we all agree. Sheesh. Otten or Pitts this week? I try so hard. PPR non-premium.
It's Pitts.
Shoot for the upside with Pitts, absolutely.
Freak
the fact that we just had a K to Otten Kyle Pitts question.
I took it just to appreciate.
That says it, right? Cup or Breece Hall, and what? What do you add to Breece Hall to get Cup?
Do you add to Breece Hall to get Cup?
Depending on situation, I think that should get done. I don't think you add.
Like, if you're two competing teams, you probably have to add to Breece to get Cup just based on point totals.
But two competing teams, you shouldn't help each other out this way. If you need a running back and I need a wide receiver, maybe, but someone's getting better.
You make trades that make your team better. It doesn't matter what happens to the other team.
If you're literally playing against each other to win this year, if that's the situation, I think it matters a little bit. And only in that situation. Like, I just lost my running back. I'm not going to be able to beat you as well next week. No. Unless I need the wide receiver so I can actually compete. And then it's just neutral, and I don't know it works.
Okay, so not a lot. Because I think the reality is going into every single season, Cooper Kupp is going to be worth less and less because he's old and because he's a slot receiver. Breece Hall is going to get more valuable from now into next year at least. And while Kupp is going to keep scoring points, Breece Hall will be more valuable very soon.
Am I allowed to continue to espouse my radical theory of points being good? Because I still want Kupp.
Careful though.
I'm with you.
Don't get too radical.
But I agree with you, Russ, that it is closer in value in what people project out as value. Mm-hmm. But you know what?
Points made.
I still think Kupp is going to score you more points.
Oh, 1,000% he should, yes.
And so if I'm anywhere near competitive, it's Kupp, and if I'm not competitive, it's Hall because he holds that value. But again, the way I treat running backs is I will draft them. I will let them score me points for 2 years, 3 on the very outset and then trade them. And so
to the question, and what do you like? This is an even trade to you, depending on situation. Or?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty close. I mean Russ has a second. I don't care about that, but yeah, if you can get a second on top of Breece Hall to give up Cup, if you're not a competitive team, yes.
Okay, let's put it this way.
I think even
if somehow Breece Hall is expendable on my team, and I want to get Cooper Kupp, I will gladly put a second on top of Breece Hall to go get Cooper Kupp.
Can't think of a situation where that makes sense.
I mean, Kupp is scoring more points by a fairly substantial amount.
Yeah,
so if you want more
advantage, and this year running back positional advantage is a little thin on the ground, you know. But I get it. I prefer Kupp, but the trade is even. It's about what
Breece Hall is putting up 17 points per game.
Kupp is putting up what, 24, 23, 25?
4.8. So 25.
Yeah. Okay.
Trade's even because Hall brings value.
Eight is a lot of points.
But it's even because Hall has the value. Like I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like it depends on your situation. It's the entire show we did last week. Go back and listen to Peter and I talk about the 3 phases of value and figure out where your team is and what value.
Someone listen to my podcast. I talk to really interesting people who know about Dynasty, and sometimes I learn from it. Often not, as you're learning on the grind. Peyton Massey, 12-team Superflex, 1 point PPR, traded Russ, Juju, and a 23-second for Trevor Lawrence and Hollywood Brown. Do we feel good about it? I feel good. You got a trade. I feel good. I feel like you're happy about it, and I like that. As for the trade,
I like Trevor Lawrence and Hollywood in that one. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I love that, actually. I like it a lot. I like it, Peyton. What else?
You're just like the trade of trading away Juju.
I know.
At least for Marquise. So
I hate myself at this point, but yeah, that's where we're at. And Marcus was in it, so I felt slightly okay. We're edible.
This was the porn bot was saying something like,
nice.
Like hot and tasty people, and she was like, we're edible, like we're tasty. What?
Honestly, I just thought it was a joke so funny I didn't get it. I literally thought, because it sounded kind of funny, but okay, cool. Giddy up. I would have left me in suspense, though. Like, I'm already on the edge. You could really push me to some place pretty special when you think about it. You missed that one. Giddy up. Are you trying to sell B-Rob?
I pulled a Peter reading this one. Are you trying to sell Rob Pronto? Rob Pronto.
And if so, for what?
Rob Pronto sounds like a used car salesman in a Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't know why, but like that's what.
And the guy that does like one of those with his business card.
Yeah, we got to go see Rob Pronto.
I'm just jealous because it sounds like a genuinely better name. Like I would want that. Bob Pronto. Pronto. That sounds cool. That guy's going places.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Like the 2 seconds is
2 seconds so easily for Bob.
Yep. Yeah.
I would do it for 1, 2 seconds, start there. Yeah. Easy. Johannes. Peter. I appreciate you. Lincoln was here. Oh, that's nice. I traded Brian Robinson for Adam Thielen and Waller. I think that's a solid win. Solid.
Keep going. It continues.
Oh, it got better.
Flipped Waller for Joe Mixon and Samaje. I don't care about Samaje, but fine.
But you got Mixon.
If you're looking for points, for sure. I was pretty happy getting
good
Waller.
trade. Well, those are very good trades.
Yes. Those are very good trades. Good job, Lincoln. If that is your name or if that's just a statement about something else that happened. I don't know. Robert, really on the edge. 10-team Superflex, 4 PPR. There are 3 flex spots. Oh, so it was a 3 QB league. I don't think I've ever seen that or played in that.
You need to hang out with Sal Stefanelli more often.
Super duper flex.
Yep.
Jimmy G. Kittle Njoku. Send Russ for Kittle and Dak and Hurst. I still on the Dak side. Like, yeah.
Send Russ and Kittle for Dak and Hurst.
You sided with the Russ trade, just to let you know last time. this one came up. He's just qualifying that it is 3 flex spots.
I don't remember Russ and Kittle. It was Russ and
Actually,
Sutton.
you're right. I don't think Kittle was on there last time. It was
The Russ
Sutton.
and Sutton trade where I just said I want to keep Russ and Sutton.
Yeah.
But Russ and Kittle for Dak and Hurst. I think I'd stick with Russ and Kittle.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Kittle. I think Kittle makes up the difference between Russ and Dak for me.
I agree.
That's a lot more even. Yeah.
Hurst is a really nice guy, but I don't necessarily want to start him at tight end.
He does well when
I think he's
somewhat
missing. I think he's somewhat more startable this year, but he's definitely in that long term. I don't care. So I think you're right. This one's even, so I'd rather just keep Kittle's the difference maker for me.
I mean, you're just saying he's startable because he's outscoring Freiermuth. That's
tight end positions are dumpster fire this year. Yeah. Lincoln was here. I didn't need Waller. I own Kelsey and Andrews. Well,
but you could start Waller too. Like that's the cool thing about tight end premium.
Yeah, but going and getting Mixon's probably the better move anyway.
Yep, I agree.
Freak Stomper. I am Johannes. Sus. I don't think so. I don't believe it.
Is that like an I'm Spartacus thing?
Different cadence to your 3-word tweets, 3-word comments. Like, I don't believe it. I like to think we have more than one view. But this might all just be Joe, now I think about it. Thank you, Joe. No. I can't decide if that's insulting other people. I'm going to pretend I didn't say it. Sheesh. Traded away Kyle Pitts, Zach Wilson, David Bell received. We did this one, right? Or something like it.
It's just another Kate Otten trade.
Otten, Waddle, and 424 firsts.
Wowie.
Right?
424 first for Pitts and Zach Wilson.
It's a little low, but I don't. It's a little low. I like getting rid of Wilson, and Pitts is an other people value thing, so.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine with it, yeah. Feel like I could have gouged someone else harder, but it's your league. And I would be fine with that.
The only thing I don't like about that is you're trading 2 years out.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it was 24s.
Yeah.
That makes it a little worse.
I think I think that you could get more for Pitts, Wilson, Bell than
flip one of them to a
24
at least.
Yeah.
I missed that there were 24s, but I agree now. Yeah.
And not that I mind acquiring 24 first. I just think that you like not only do you pay the price like to acquire them, but you also pay the price in you
Time
don't
owning
them. Yeah, you don't get them for 2 years. So
Gary Russell. Okay, let's talk Kyle Pitts. We're brand new, fresh-faced, barely tired at all. So let's start that conversation in Dynasty. No, Gary, good question. At this point, do you keep him or sell him or move him on? Entirely depends on situation and what trades I can get. I can't even believe that I'm asking. I know, right?
If you're not getting tight end one price, then you just hold on.
Yes, if you wouldn't be willing to sell Andrews for it, then you hold Kyle Pitts because someone is probably going to do that at some point. It does have that potential.
The offseason will happen. Atlanta will make a small something move, and it will bring the Pitts hype back.
We're just waiting to bring it back. The community as a whole is just on the edge of its seat, waiting to do it.
Anything. I don't know what Mariota's contract really is, but the second the season ends, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's Ritter time for next year," and then. Well, Ritter's, a new quarterback. New quarterbacks love their tight ends. So
whatever the quarterback they bring in is, or whatever the one they draft, it would be something. Or they'll get a new offensive coordinator or something. There'll be a workout video. Who'll catch a touchdown that last game, whatever. So yeah, not as long as a conversation as I thought. That's literally where we're at. We've been and we'll be there until next year. Yeah.
Now, when you do get that trade,
you take it.
I will take it.
Yeah, that's the whole point for me. Yeah. Which is why I kind of make a face every time it comes up because I worry I'm not going to get that trade. That's what.
No, there are too many people invested that you will continue to get that trade.
Stick to the process, Pete. Stick to the process. Lakers Commanders. Reasonable trades for Curtis Samuel. A second.
Keep reading.
Okay, Curtis Samuel, Fields, and a late 23 first.
Looking for rebuilding pieces. Well, Fields and late first are rebuilding pieces.
Yeah.
So go get a second for Curtis Samuel and hold on to the rest for now.
Kind of worried to trade Fields for his value, but I mean,
what's his value right now?
He's been okay in a terrible situation twice. It's hard. I don't think it's still hard to blame the player, or not blame, but put the.
I don't even care about whose fault it is. It just is.
This season, we went into the season saying it should be a write-off for Fields because they literally didn't give him a person to catch the ball. Why are we holding against him?
No. That's what you came into the season. I came into the season saying I don't have a great quarterback process, but rookie quarterbacks who struggle that hard usually keep struggling, and we've seen literally that play out. Like I had Wilson and Fields on the same list, despite being drastically different quarterbacks, I imagine, and it's still working. Like I'm not saying he's bad. Like I like him better as a prospect from the little research that I do. It just keeps hitting. I don't like it because I want to believe I want
Fields players who can catch
as
the
a
ball.
player.
Like Fields had to throw to Velus Jones to catch a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to. He still got Darnell Mooney.
Finally. Like I think it's too soon. Like the past 2 games alone, Fields has started to come out a little bit. So I'm not selling Fields now because the value is just not there. It's too low. And honestly, it can't get too much lower. Fields is still going to be starting.
It can
get lower.
It can.
Okay, that was the wrong statement. Clearly it can get lower. But it shouldn't get much lower than it is right now because people are already there.
I don't think so though, because I think most people are where you are, which is why in September in DLF's Superflex ADP in September he was still quarterback 12.
That's what I was going to ask. So in September this year, do you think most people are still going to be where Russ is? Because if so, he's still right. There's no reason to sell him right now or trade him away.
Why not?
That it's one quarterback
because you can do it in September.
Okay. Theoretical question. I don't know how to. Should one man? How the hell do I word this? Should the QB order be different because it's one quarterback or Superflex?
It is.
Should it
No, but it is. Like in DLF, it's like Jalen Hurts is QB 4 in Superflex and QB 9 and.
Why is that?
What? Yeah, he's much lower in single quarterback.
Okay, so right now, the top. Hold on, let me scroll up to make sure I'm in the right place. Yes, October ADP quarterbacks are Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Mahomes, Hurts, Murray, Burrow. That feels top 7. It gets a little weird with Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Tua, Wilson. But then this feels pretty normal, and Fields is 18. If you can get QB 12 price, okay, yeah, I'd probably sell Fields. But if you're getting QB 18 prices, I'm holding on just to see if it gets better.
What other quarterbacks? See, you're putting a value on them that I think.
What, Peter?
If you can get top 12 quarterback value for Tua, I think it's reasonable. And he's done well when healthy. Okay, I just think it's too high. But I do think you have a good point that most people are probably I want the player to be good too, to be honest, because I like the player. So I think more people stay on Russ. And if you can do something in September that you can do now, that gives you a lot of time for something more positive to happen, to make trades do go up in value. And so I don't mind holding. I will say that. Outside of that, Curtis Samuel is a tradable piece here either way.
But I don't mind trading Fields. I don't mind trading Samuel. I don't even mind trading the 23 first, although that's probably the piece that I'm hanging on to.
Correct.
Out of these three. And if you're looking for rebuilding pieces, wideouts, I'm looking at Jamison Williams, who has not played, so his value is kind of still under the radar. I'm looking at Elijah Moore, who I think is better than he's played. I'm looking at Devontae Smith. Those are the types of players that I'm looking to try to get.
But if you're trading a quarterback, I also assume Superflex, so I try and go up and get Tua with that kind of thing. Oh, even a little higher maybe than Tua. Who were we just talking about? Who we said was slightly above him. Sorry, my brain hurts at this point. But I think Tua's a good target. Thank you. I had to think about something that was marginally difficult. And that always makes my brain hit. Hurts. Can you get Hurts for that? There you go. That would be a walk-off win.
I don't think you can.
You can't, but that would be great. So I just pulled up Superflex trades for Justin Fields.
Okay.
Some of these are not pretty.
Do you think, and Russ, take all of your personal feelings out, do you think you could get close to Watson with Fields and Samuel and then trade Watson, and now all of a sudden we're in the conversation for Hurts once Watson comes back?
Is Lance in that
Fields and a first for Watson and Jahan Dotson.
Okay, so there you go. So we trade
from a 3-3 team.
So trade Samuel and Fields and get Watson, and then trade your Watson and whatever you have to get Hurts. Watson in a first, like whatever.
Or Watson for Hurts plus.
Yeah.
If you can. Yeah, okay, yes. I like that better.
West Coast Chief traded Kittle for Marcus Brown, and honestly, I'm a little torn on it.
It's probably fair.
It's even.
No
and
premium.
If you don't want points this year, Brown's the way to go, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kittle's not burning the world down either.
I think he's going to, and definitely more than Marcus Brown over the next 6 weeks at least. But yeah, it's even. Chris Donor, I've got a running back needy contender. Who doesn't? Me. I have no contender. No, that's not true, actually.
If you could trade that to get Najee, the answer is yes.
Yes.
But I still don't think I don't think that helps you with your do that, but I don't think that helps you like you think it's going to help you. So do that and then go trade for somebody else, whether it's Fournette or
process question for you guys, because I fought this so hard in one of my leagues. If you see a trade go through of Najee Harris for Michael Gallup, Rondale Moore, and a third, and then I try and sell you Najee Harris for running back 7 price, do you but no, you just got him for 3 things of blah. Why would I give you that price for him?
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what somebody paid for him, but I'm also, again, looking at my team, and if it's something that's going to benefit me, I'm going to do it. And if it's not,
taking Najee out of the question, just in general, because what the hell did I do? I traded. Oh yeah, earlier in the season, before the season started, I can't remember. I traded T. Higgins and I got Stafford and Cooper Kupp. And then there was this one guy who kept fighting me to say, "Well, you got Kupp and Stafford for Higgins, so they're the same value."
No, because value's not static.
Just because I got a good price doesn't mean that's what their price is.
And that's the thing. Value's not static, and we talk about this all the time. Where it's league dependent, it's team dependent, and so what is worth it to somebody in your league may not be worth it to somebody else in your league.
Exactly. Yes.
I just watched Darrell Henderson traded for a first round 23 pick last week in one of my dynasty leagues.
Yikes.
Yikes. Absolutely. But it happened. So is now all of a sudden Darrell Henderson's value across all leagues a first?
Well, no. I'm not talking across all leagues. I'm talking even just specifically within, and I'll get super specific. I was trying to get my first back from a guy in a league, and I sent him T. Higgins for my first. He rejected.
Right.
So I then traded T. Higgins for Stafford and Cup. So he sends me my first for Stafford and Cup saying, well, you offered this to me yesterday.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I offered you. I offered you T. Higgins.
Right.
Just because I got a better deal than you were willing to accept, that's on you.
Right.
Yeah.
But
you should also do this.
Months, this guy kept saying, well, that's what the value is.
You know what you do, Russ, is you look at him and you say, well, my first isn't worth as much as it was last week because now I have Cooper Kupp.
I got this guy. Like I ended up paying and I got my first back, but I'm like, and I told him, and I told the same thing to J Mike. I'm like, you don't want to see what I can do out of spite and score points. I will win this damn league. So
I also wouldn't send a trade comment back
worthless
about any of that. I'd just say, I understand what you mean, but that's just not the way I trade. And if he's got any process, he'll remember he
does not, because I said it very nicely in the beginning, and then after a while I was like, dude, I've told you enough times this isn't happening.
But he's not going to benefit from explaining it.
All I know is Darrell Henderson is worth a first now. We've established that.
Across all dynasty.
Good.
All I know is it's pretty cool that 53 people will sit with us till after midnight to hear us talk about it.
That is wild.
Oh crap! It's after midnight.
Yeah,
I was looking at that. If you like, well, we'll get to it in like 2 hours, even though I'll be asleep by then. Bob Gilchrist is here. Is like, isn't it past Russ and Zach's bedtime? And I'm just like, yeah, it is. And then I'm like, wait, it's after 12. It's really past my bedtime. But I don't have to go to the city tomorrow, so it's not that bad.
Fair enough. Chris Donor, feel like a good time to buy low, but I should target someone getting more points. If you want the points, you definitely should target someone else, but it is a pretty good time. If that's the deal for Najee, it's a pretty good buy low deal.
Yes, that is a great value trade. It is not a great points trade.
Right.
And honestly, good value is good value. So do that and go looking for your points somewhere else. I would feel,
and then use that to try and get someone who's scoring more points. Like, yeah, like you can move. You can move that along. You will. There is someone in your league that likes Najee. Like there still will be.
It might just be you though, and that'd still be good doing that and trying to find other things to try and go get my points. Yeah. If I'm in a position to do that. West Coast Chiefer, 12-team Superflex PPR. Give Najee, Elijah Mitchell, and Nico Collins. Got Marcus Brown before the injury. That's rough. But you got the first. Marcus Brown's fine for the future. Rashad White, Isaiah Spiller in a third. Yeah, I kind of like it. Sucks that
Hollywood in a first for Najee. I mean, value I think might still be Najee, but
it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. And you got,
I'm not going to like
the White and Spiller throw-ins. They can change that. Their value can go up here over the next few weeks as well. Well, mostly White.
Whites can, yeah. Spillers, I don't think
that's
so.
Not happening.
Not gonna let me have that one.
Sorry, Pete.
I was there for Spiller.
You're a tough man, but fair. Sorry, above with a 12-team half PPR. I don't think that affects my opinion, but I appreciate you letting us know.
Nope.
It helps. Same league, 12-team Superflex PPR. Should I trade Waddle? Probably not.
Nope.
For Hall straight up.
Nope.
And Tua's coming back, so I'm saved. No.
He still went.
I was gonna save for points.
Still went
but
like
Tua's coming back.
10 for 106 or 6 for 106 last week. I mean,
yeah.
Like
this just in, Jalen Waddle, good at football.
Good at football.
Yeah.
It's wild. Bob Gilchrist, is this way past Russ and Zach's bedtime? Yes, but I feel like that's mostly Russ and Zach's. It's been great. I've been enjoying it. Russ and Zach have had a lot to say, and they've been spitting. You should have been here early. Playing a large redraft league. Should I drop David Bell and let Zach pick him up? Yes, because I like Zach.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm starting David Bell in the Scott Fish Bowl. I mean, no offense to David Bell.
He's still on my team. I haven't dropped him yet.
I still have Jarvis. I mean, he's going to be a wide receiver one outside of week 1, right? He's coming back.
He still has a chance to come back and score points better than David Bell does.
Yeah.
I think I'm rostering David Bell in the Scott Fishbowl because I stand my bays. I don't know what to tell you. I'm never starting him, but that's the way I do.
I'm setting a lineup at about 73% efficiency in the SFB right now, and I'm still in the top 450.
Oh, I don't have him. I lied.
Oh man, I was getting better week by week, and then I dropped back to my week 1 total, which was 90-something points this week. So that did not go well.
My team is so fake. I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm like
my best.
I'm doing a lot better than I should.
Stevenson.
I'm starting Taysom Hill this week at quarterback. Think about that. Even though he's a tight end, I'm starting him at quarterback.
I had to pick up Zach Gentry because I didn't have a startable tight end because my tight ends were Dalton Schultz and Pat Freiermuth.
Move.
2022. It's an awesome year. 1 OT, 1 QB,
10 team,
10 team.
1 quarterback.
Maybe it's past Peter's bedtime.
I'm 2-4 with Brees. MC, that's going to be McCaffrey. Is that McCaffrey? Michael Carter?
Marcus Callaway?
Michael Carter, baby.
Jefferson, I got. CD, I got. Debo, I got. AJ Brown, I got. Kittle, Claypool. 3 firsts, 3 seconds. What moves can I make to better my running back room while staying competitive and holding picks for 2023?
You don't need to make it better.
It's got to be Michael Carter, by the way.
This is one of the times where you start looking at, and we talked about Miles Sanders earlier, but Miles Sanders is a scoring running back this year that people don't necessarily like for Dynasty, which means you can get him for less than what he's scoring. Yeah, the second or 2 seconds.
It'll get done with a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Also, whether Rashad White's come in, look at those upside backups that you like.
Claypool's big game, I would send him in a second to go get someone that might be better.
Yep.
Get Claypool.
Like if you can go get like the Fournette or the Jacobs kind of guys who are scoring even more than Sanders and people still really don't like them for Dynasty.
Yep.
Jalen Waddle, if apparently people don't realize he's good, he's going to have week-to-week upside. I know your wide receivers are stacked, but if he's at a value, you're looking to add points and value because it's
adding Jalen Waddle to your team is never a bad idea.
He said it this time. You hear that? Hear that?
I heard it.
Is that something I've never said before?
Well, you did.
No,
you took Higgins over him. I saw the point.
We're gonna clip it. Lincoln was here. Should I try to trade away Rondon Moore? For what? It's my weakest position. He's got DK. You're not that weak, dude. Keenan Allen. Okay. Alec Pierce has shown some signs. Bateman. You're not that weak. And Thielen. But I get your point.
If you have a PPR league, hold on to Rondale Moore. There's no reason to get rid of him.
I think so, but if you can package Rondale Moore to go up to that tier of wide receivers we keep talking about loving and liking, and they're scoring points and they have value, I don't think
What are you packaging? Like
package him with Bateman and get a receiver who scores.
If you can get like Rondale Moore and go get like Pittman, sure.
Wandell's value is a little shaky right now. We've talked about a lot of them this stream. That we target for points and value. Deontay Johnson's going to keep pointing up a minimum, and he actually has upside this year, and he's undervalued long term as well.
Or just go get wide receiver 13, Jacoby Myers.
For a lot less. But yeah, sure, I guess.
Sorry, that was just a little surprising.
Yeah, right. It does shake you a little bit when you look at who's actually scoring right now. If I should trade more, what should I try to ask for? Oh, we try.
But don't trade him individually though, because you won't.
You will not get anything worthwhile.
No, you're gonna have to package and go up value or points. Hopefully both. And yeah, don't worry. We don't give yes or no answers on this show if it's not clear. We're gonna We try to go to the end.
I traded like a crap sandwich for Rondell Moore. I have to find what league it was.
I definitely failed at trading him away.
Bob Gilchrist,
Book, David Bell, a 23 fourth and a 24 third for Rondell.
You gave
Moore.
up Ian Book? Sorry.
I literally just started clicking buttons, and this guy somehow said yes.
I traded a 24 first in Rondell for Bateman.
I tried to trade a 23 first for Rondell back a couple of years ago, but whoever I tried to trade it wouldn't take it.
What idiot! Bob Gilchrist, send Fields for Lance, then Lance for Trevor, then Trevor for Tua, then Tua for Watson. See, I don't like your endpoint. I need a few more fours.
And then Watson for Hurts, and then we're talking. It's like the kid who had the paperclip on eBay and then ended up with a house. Yeah,
right. Cascade trade.
That was Craigslist before people were getting murdered through it.
Yeah.
Back in our day, no. Benjamin, and would like to know, what would you be willing to pay for the combo of Derrick Henry, Hilliard, and DeAndre Hopkins? There's a lot there.
Offered the first, 24 second, and third. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that offer's fine. If you don't get it, then you're gonna have to piece up and simplify the trade because there is a lot going on. Like, you're trying to get Derrick Henry or maybe Hopkins at a value. Decide on your priority and try and offer for that thing. That's
like the first for Henry is fine. The second for Hopkins is fine.
It's fine.
And then I'd rather have the rest of that mess, I think, than Hilliard, but it's not by a lot.
A fair offer, but if it's not being accepted, piece it up.
Taekwondo Thornton, did Peter? Have you gotten to that box score yet? Where Taekwondo Thornton saw targets, had a carry, had 2 touchdowns.
Who?
It was so beautiful.
I think I messaged you at the time.
It's not midnight here.
Joannis, it's not midnight here.
It's not midnight here either. It's past it.
He is the brain of the outfit. He would know. Benjamin, would you pay any more? No, I think you got the values about right.
No, you are not giving up a top. You are not giving this person his pick back.
No,
for Derrick Henry.
No,
not if Russ can't get it for a better deal. Hell no. Any DFS interest in MVS? I don't play DFS at all anymore.
No, MVS is not going to be a thing.
If you just get to any DFS interest, this is the same answer for me.
You're not. No, the answer is no. Never MVS.
Unless his salary is like free, and then no, because you need that place to score points. West Coast Chiefer, 12 teams who flex PPR. I'm 11-1, and my running back room is the weakest position on my roster. Same. Well, some of it. Jacobs, Jamal Williams is not that weak. Jeff Wilson, Rashad White. Would you look to upgrade? I mean,
if you're going to do that, then you're trading Javonte Williams to score points this year.
Try and go up, yeah.
Or is that Jamal Williams?
If it's Jamal Williams, if it's Jamal, then you just keep the points.
I think you're there. You've got a top 5 running back and a running back who can put up top 12 as long as Swift is.
Yeah,
he might be coming back this week. To be fair,
so
but he was still startable.
First and get Derrick Henry. I mean, like,
the answer to this is wait, because you're already 11-1. You're obviously doing well. Wait until the very last possible, and then trade
at this point, it's going to be hard for you to get pushed out of a playoff spot. So ride it for a while and see what happens.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And then take your first, and like Peter said, Derrick Henry or whoever it is that's that running back that's still a top, 6 or 8 running back that is going to.
I'm not trading these players to try and do it at all.
No,
but you're about this year. If someone is not about this year, and they'll take Marcus Brown instead of that first.
I was about to ask that question. If that is something you would do.
Yep.
Yeah. Peter the R, welcome back, man. Nice to catch you here towards the late part of the stream, but still. Rebuilding 14-team Superflex, 1.5 tight end premium. I got Burks on the block, not going to work. but okay. And asked if I'd be interested in Burks plus for my London or Garrett Wilson.
It would have to be a pretty considerable plus because you've already seen London and Wilson do what you hope Burks is going to do.
Yeah, at this point, they're both worth more than Burks.
Yeah. Yep.
Possible I could move Wilson and Lamb for Burks and Pitts? No.
I hate
Like,
that,
I get
by
what
the
Pitts
way.
is-
That's what I was
Pitts,
worried about.
but
Like
no.
that idea is fine, like Burks plus for one of those guys, but it's about the plus. And I was worried that something like that, no, not that trade.
So here's the thing to me that it looks like you may be doing in the back of your mind is hanging on to those rookie evaluations. And so yes, the rookie evaluations matter, but what matters more is what players are doing. So like the rookie evaluation matters, but if a player is producing is good, you already have that in hand. And so that matters more than that rookie evaluation.
Very good. Absolutely. I was going to say you
Except
won't
when
find anyone who will be
you
more
hold on to
wrong
the
on
rookie
Burks if he doesn't do something. And I'm coming down on him. And I'll still be the most wrong if it doesn't happen. And even I am coming down on him. Like, he's got turf toe. He definitely can't put up much of a better season. And that's the biggest concern a rookie can have.
That's exactly the type of move that I would be looking to make if I had Burks, is to go get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't let them work you this way. Like the initial idea is fine, but they are adding a first to get London or Garrett Wilson with a Burks. Like that's a little high, but like that's a better expectation than what this trade was putting it at. Joe's laughing at me, and I appreciate him. Taysom McKinney. Oh, yeah.
Nah, I know, Joe. It's not pretty, but it is what
He's
it is.
got a better team than me. That's the best part. I'm a lot better team.
I'm in the top 15% right now. Even with
made better decisions.
No, yeah, even with my 73% efficiency.
What is your rank? What is that? Top 15%?
440 or something like that. 450, something like that.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Lincoln, thoughts on Bellinger? He's been pretty good the last 2 days. 2 games. Showing trends upwards, but I tend to be very suspicious of those usage trends. It tends to be a bang, here you are, rather than a gradual build-up. If I can get something of that value, I would do it. But so far, I'm positive. Positive is positive.
If I can get a second or better, I am trading Bellinger.
Sorry, I should have said. Yeah, that's about the value line. Gary Russell, appreciate all you guys do. I appreciate that, man. 3 hours of Dynasty talk with all of us nerds. Yeah,
some of us are dummies.
Peter's talking a lot of crap about himself, but he's at 794.
Yeah, it's a fake team.
You ready for
lower than Zach though?
Guess where I am.
798. 1400. Where?
23-24.
That's pretty good.
It looked good though.
If you had a decimal point somewhere.
If you put like 23 or 24, no, I am 2,324th out of I think
3,
it's 29.99.
Well, to be fair, they don't allow trading in the Scott Fishbowl, so they basically mooted your best.
Year, and every year he's just like Russ, no, and I'm like, I get it, but please.
like that's your golden ticket. So,
what quarterback would you give up for both Murray and Lance?
You getting both of them, and one quarterback?
Honestly, like
the guys above Murray and
the guy, like the
and
person.
There's not many. Murray. There's those 4 we mentioned that are above. Murray.
Honestly, I
don't want Lance that bad.
So I don't think I do that.
Yeah,
no, I don't. Like, there's no quarterbacks above Murray that I would do that.
I would offer Murray and Lance to everyone above Murray to see if it'll work. But if I'm the person with
I'd rather have Murray than Burrow, who's going. Well, I don't know if he still is, but he was going ahead of Murray.
He still is.
Okay, I'd rather have Murray than Burrow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
but
he's number 5, so there's only 4 quarterbacks I wouldn't do it for. How about that?
No.
And we mentioned them. Gary Russell, would you do Dak, Pitts, Jay Williams? Gotta help me out.
Wide receiver Detroit. He did help you out.
Detroit.
What
There you
he
go.
said, you are better
Literacy,
than me in so many
baby.
ways,
Literacy.
for Debo, don't stop reading. Is the lesson for Debo, Herbert, and Higbee.
Debo, Herbert. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was 4 yeses. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for being so nice. People talk about nasty people on Twitter and streaming and in comments on YouTube all the time, and I feel like a psychopath because I get none of it. I meet nice people just having good conversations, and I feel like I'm not trying to jinx myself here, but that's known, right? Like people are mean in trade comments and in comments on videos and on Twitter, people are mean.
Not here. We have a really great audience, Peter.
See, the real
honestly, sometimes I feel gaslit by society.
No, so
not my experience.
We cultivate this by obscure movie references and gelato.
There we go.
The real trick
Chris,
is to name yourself something stupid like Outhouse, so people won't bother arguing with you because you'll be like, "My name's Outhouse. Why are you yelling at me?"
Outhouse.
I got a stupid name. I get it. Thank you, Russ. Someone's got to get it, Jack.
Do this.
Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Barkley,
Yes.
Schultz.
Got offered Barkley and Schultz for my 20. Yes.
Barkley's worth that. Yeah, I don't really care about Schultz, but it's nice. Sure.
Yeah, you can always
you can in 6 minutes. Yeah, smash that now.
Yeah, you can recoup your first later, but win with Barkley.
Hit the button while we talk. West Coast Chiefer. I tried to package Marcus Brown and my late first for Horn. Not a bad offer, I don't think. Manages a shaded Brown with Hopkins coming back. That's not an issue right now. Brown and a first too much for Kenneth Walker.
I think
Waddle's going to be so bad because Tyreek is there. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, that's literally how I would play it if he wasn't injured and out for 6 weeks minimum.
I think it is too much for Walker, but
I get it. Again, play to win. If that's a winning move, if you're like that close, sure. Yep. But I do think you're
putting points over no points. You're not adding like 3 points per game. You are filling a spot.
With a productive running back
to do that with. Yeah,
and especially because like Marquise is coming back with what, the playoffs? Like maybe the week before. Like, are you going to feel safe playing him? Like I
think he's done fantasy work. Like you've got to wait for the first game, and then maybe he's not because he's straight away. So you got to wait for the next game. You're already in your playoffs. So you're going to start him for the first time in your play. I think he's done.
Plus, Rondell Moore has already picked up all of those vacated targets.
Peter put his head down. You started to talk, and Peter's like, "I know this.
He knew.
I've seen this. I've seen this movie before."
Clue. 12 teams who flex PPR, half 1.5 tight end premium, start 9. I don't know what my hand gestures are at this point in the night. Give Mariota and Brian Robinson, Kenny Pickett, and a 24 third.
Yes, then trade Pickett also.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the input. Appreciate it. Love the show. Thanks to you, man. And
appreciate you.
It is just input. Remember that.
Yep.
We're just other Dynasty idiots up at this time talking about it. So your team. I'll stand by it if you want to blame someone, but just so you know, like it's not. I'm like, we're not bestowing the right answer if you disagree with it.
I am.
I'm not, but I will like act like that if you need someone to be mad at. Like that's.
That's more or less what I mean. Yes.
I'm here for you to be mad at. Don't worry about it. I will stand by my opinion.
I talk fantasy football with such false confidence that I will say yes. I am saying the right thing.
What is your Scott Fishbowl ranking? Bob Gilchrist. Zach makes it look like his bench is his best scoring bench by far. Yes, he does.
So my potential points are ahead of the number one team by the same amount that my actual points are behind the number one team. So we'll just put it that way. Like, my bench is good. I am a terrible manager.
My bench is bad.
I disagree with the second statement, but you're doing a lot to try and prove it this year in the Scottish. I agree. Caleb, my QBs are Mahomes, Carr, Zach Wilson right now. What do I need to do to get Deshaun? Start cascade trading Wilson.
Can you Carr and Wilson for Deshaun? Like, it doesn't feel like it's enough, but it's worth a shot.
It should
do it now though before he comes back.
Yes, absolutely. You need to do it before he comes back.
That's what you need to do, Caleb. You need to try and get him now, and until he comes back and puts a point. Bob Gilchrist, he's got me beat by 4% efficiency. You two show offs about how terrible your starting lineup are, and you're still doing well.
I have 89.9% efficiency. And guess why? Because my bench
little choices
full of zeros.
Is not good. Yeah.
Honestly, the way I just stack up backup running backs, the choices are meant to be easy. That's the other advantage of doing it.
My points for is 789.6. My potential points is 878. It is less than 100 more. That is how few points I have on my bench.
I have left very few points on the bench. That's partly why I'm fake. Yeah, I've just been lucky, to be honest. Just flipping like Sophie's choosing my bad quarterbacks, and I've gotten lucky.
I am 3-3, and if my opponent set better lineups, I should have lost 2 of those games.
West Coast Chief says exactly, Russ. And because he seems to have taken it like an actual comment, I will point out, if we did 10 drafts together, Outhouse would outdraft me 9 times, and then he would outtrade me in all 10 of them and win anyway. So it was not an comment about his ability in the Scott Fishbowl. Chris Donor.
I'm not great at drafting unless I can trade in the draft.
Liar. I've seen his teams. He's lying. He's just flat out lying. To be fair, he does get to trade in those drafts, but he still ends up drafting a good team. Chris Donut, appreciate you guys and love and all the content you're putting out there. We really do appreciate you, Chris. Yeah. It's not just like a thing. We're not good enough content or streamers to say it for that reason. We just like you. Bob Gilchrist, vacated targets on the rise.
Vacation targets. Yeah, I get the picture of Darnell Mooney riding Dumbo with the target, but I think Mooney's still on vacation.
I think I can
pick up any targets.
I think there's a button here where I can put people on timeout. Oh, I can't put him on timeout. He's on Twitch, and he's our only person on Twitch. I can't afford to do that. Caleb Durante, Mr. Word.
Yeah, we get that one already. That was
Carr and Wilson. I'm reading it.
Peter.
Like, you're doing well. Don't worry.
Look over there.
Where exactly? Like, could you pinpoint?